Hello, all you beautiful people. We're here for part one of Election Day coverage. How this is going to work is there's going to be two parts. This is going to be the daytime coverage. So I don't have anything particular planned. We'll just see how long people want me to do this. So I'm going to be taking callers for most of this. So I just want people to call in and I don't know, talk about their experiences, like how they if they've been having trouble with voting, how their voting experience has been going, just that kind of thing. Their thoughts on the election. We'll see how many people come in. I don't like kicking people out, but I might have to. Do some cycling. We'll see how many people actually bother showing up. And then tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we begin the actual coverage. And the actual coverage will probably go until we know who's won, or until I fall asleep in my chair. I've got a couple Rockstar energy drinks. I've got some, other stuff. I've got some snacks. It's gonna be fun. So, like I said, I just kind of wanted to do this because, to quote DSP, day one inflated views. Let me just double check if the link to my Discord still works. Because if you want to come on, you can just join in on my Discord server. So let me just check to make sure that's still valid. Yep, that still works. So, if you'd like to support me, there is a link below to my Streamlabs. Which I prefer to Super Chat, because I get to keep all the money. Any donations at the moment is good. Basically just trying to, I don't know, unemployed at the moment. EI is okay, I guess. It's not a ton of money, but it is what it is. So I didn't really have a ton else to say. If you hear a bell in the background, Rain is going crazy over one of her toys. It's like one of those round circle things that have little holes in the top and there's a bell in it. And she's just been going crazy, hitting the bell and knocking it around. So, okay, someone just joined the Discord. Okay, I'll just confirm the two people just joined. So in Discord there is a channel called Viewer Hangout. So I'm going to be in that, and if you want to come on, just go into Viewer Hangout, and we are live at the present. So up to you guys. I'm just going to let everybody else know. Let me just send that. So just come in. If I get too many people, I'll have to kick you out after 15 minutes or so. We'll see how it goes, though. You can in from chat. Okay, so we'll see here. Nobody's joined yet. So anybody wants to come on, they can. We'll just see how the day goes. Maybe there'll be some news, maybe there won't. I was trying to watch the news a bit earlier. I was just kind of flipping between Russia Today, Fox, and what was the third one? There was Russia Today, Fox News, and wow, I'm drawing a blank. ABC. The problem is just a lot of it is just really shitty, interviews. And I don't really want to watch interviews. Russia Today had an hour-long one about, an hour-long interview with, what's it called again? With Rudy Giuliani. And I mean, that'd be interesting normally, but I don't really want to hear from Giuliani. I just want to hear the other stuff. By the way, let me know if the mic's okay. After people's feedback, it's a distance away from me and I have the windscreen up. So hopefully that'll be alright. Hopefully rain's not too loud in the background, but She's an active kitty. For those of you who were wondering, she's pretty much completely recovered from her surgery. There's still a little scar, but otherwise she seems pretty happy. So that's good. I took off her collar last week, so here, girl, do you want to come up and sit next to me? Okay, there we go. She's in her bed next to me. It's kind of weird because she can tell when I get up in the morning. I don't know if it's from my breathing or whatever, but she always like jumps on my bed, and I kind of have a velvety small pillow, and she just goes and needs that pretty heavily. And we have two people on.
Howdy.
We have Millhouse and Morden. Hi guys, good to have you on. You can go ahead and talk. We're live. Please mute the stream, just because we're getting feedback.
What's up?
Oh, hey man, how's it going?
Not much. All right. What state do you live in?
I live in Toronto, actually.
I am from West Virginia.
Oh, isn't that like the most red state?
Washington.
I'm actually technically Canadian, but it's yeah. Oh, 1 second. Okay, I don't know why. Give me a sec. This is
Hello.
Hi, where are you from? Allegheny?
Oh, okay, there we go. For some reason, Discord wasn't putting up my mic. Hey guys, good to have you on.
Oh, my pleasure.
Are we already live? Or
Yep,
Yeah,
we are live.
okay.
Yeah, sometimes for some reason, I don't know, Discord probably had an update and it resets the settings or something. So, yeah, so have you guys all voted yet?
Yeah, I voted.
Yeah, I already voted.
Yep.
I live in Washington, so I voted in October. Early
Washington
October.
State or DC?
Washington State.
Well, if you're watching me, you're probably not from Washington DC.
Say that again.
How is just maybe, I guess, to start off with, what's the COVID stuff like in your states?
Still locked down. Like, nobody follows it.
Because I know in Toronto we have like bread lines now. Like I wanted to get a piece of pizza, and they only allowed 2 people into the restaurant at a time, and you aren't allowed to when you're in the restaurant. You're not allowed to. Yeah, there's only 2 at a time, so it's really long waits for food.
Yeah, so you got massive food lines going like down the block.
Yes, there's a area not far from where I live where there's a whole bunch of like bakeries, like Polish and like Greek and that kind of thing. And because they all have a limit of 1 or 2 people, their lines are like an hour long. So they're literally bread lines.
It's actually longer than like the bread line, like the actual bread line across from my work.
We had gyms briefly open here, and the lines for those were like 2 hours, and you had to book the gym ahead of time. What I have to do is at the moment is what's it called again? I have to book tickets if I want to go to mass on Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, my parish does that too.
Well, I know you live in Toronto, but like, how big are the areas you people live? Because like, my town has less than 10,000 people.
Well, the joke is that all of Southern Ontario is, well, at least that I came up with, is the greatest Toronto area. So Toronto is 3 million, roughly, and 6 million if you count the metropolitan area. Yeah, it's between, I think Toronto proper is 2.7 million, and then the GTA, which includes a lot of different suburbs, is like 6 million, roughly. So.
Yeah, where I am, it's a smaller population, so the having to sign up for mass thing is kind of redundant. Well,
Where do you live?
pointless when rather not say, but
Alright.
it's there's not much of a point because even when there wasn't COVID lockdowns, mass wouldn't the church wouldn't be packed. So it's kind of
You're right. I think
pointless.
reserving seats is kind of optimistic on their part
Yeah.
that many people would even come.
Yeah, exactly.
But how is the voting process? Something I always, because in Canada we almost no positions at a provincial or federal level are elected other than just your representative. So when I get a ballot, it's literally just one check mark on it. How many is it in the U.S. when you vote? Because isn't there
So from my
go on.
from my ballot, it was around a dozen positions. You had judges, treasurers, obviously the president and that, Senate, House Representatives, and there were also a couple referendums on it. So in total, there was between 16 to 18 things to vote on.
Right. I had never really thought of it before because it's just something that doesn't happen here. And because of that, I had always wondered why it took so long for American elections to be counted. Because in Canada, it's less than an hour sometimes before we have semifinal results.
Yeah, because you don't have to count 20 different things on one ballot.
I actually, 1 year I actually worked because I was unemployed, so I worked at a poll. It was kind of interesting. I had my ballots counted in half an hour. It's not really that complicated.
Well, yeah, if you're only voting for one thing.
That and we only
easy.
do paper ballots.
Yeah.
So,
The U.S. electoral system is pretty backwards in how we count the votes and that, but
I actually like the Electoral College.
Well, yeah, that's good, but the actual way we go about counting votes and ballots and all that.
I think a lot of people don't really get, from my understanding, the reason why it was set up the way it was is senators are state representation, representatives are local representation, and the president is national representation.
Yeah, that's about right. Because originally the senators weren't even popularly elected; they were appointed by the governor.
Yeah, that I think was a big mistake, switching that.
Yeah.
So what was how did you guys vote? Was it in person or by mail or?
I had to fill out an absentee ballot because of where I am. I'm not in my home county. I'm at university.
Right. So did you mail that in or?
Yeah, I had to mail that in. So
I live in Washington, so I mail everything.
Yeah. So the thing was, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here for a minute. I normally vote by advanced ballot. Just, I don't know. Just it's easier that way. But in Canada, it generally doesn't take very long to vote. I think one of the weirdest things I've ever heard was I was listening to the news this morning, and they're like, if you change your mind and you've already voted, then you can go and vote again. And that'll override your mail-in ballot. And I'm like, how would you even, I don't even know how that's possible, you know what I mean?
Well, the U.S. has, incredibly liberal voter laws. It's not very difficult to vote twice.
How would you match those two up?
You wouldn't. They just count both.
Well, they claim they don't, but I mean, it's...
But, practically speaking, most of the time they will.
How do you join the call in Discord? If you're on the Discord server, you just join the... Oh, wow, we had a bunch of people come in. Okay, I'll just approve you guys. You just join in the general... Oh, no, sorry, not the general. The viewer hangout voice chat. It should be obvious because I'm in there. Let's see. I'll just approve these. I don't have.
I
Sorry, go on.
have a question for like, my other Americans. How many like Biden Harris signs have you guys seen? Like I live in like a really liberal area, and I've only seen like 5.
I've seen quite a few,
Huh.
but there's a fair amount of Trump ones too.
The really big one for me, my state is the governor. Like people fucking hate Jay Inslee.
Mm-hmm. I think you think they hate Winsley. Think about Whitmer in Michigan. People really, really hate her.
Well, people hate her so much that a completely real conspiracy tried to kidnap her.
Oh yeah, the one that was infiltrated like 5 months before the attempt.
No, what are you talking about? It was completely real. It was also a Make Works project.
Yeah, the federal business.
The Federal Bureau of Infrastructure is what I call
Yeah,
it.
the Federal Bureau of Infrastructure. That was the name he gave it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And don't
Hey,
forget
guys.
the Bureau of Land Management that's been going out and doing work in the inner cities over the summer.
Yeah, and then you also have the Concrete Construction Company, among others.
Yeah.
It's-
They've fallen out of, they've had a lot less work to do recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was watching RT, and they had like a parody segment where they were going around and like asking people how they were helping to rig the U.S. election or something.
Yeah. That's funny.
Someone's saying, do rainbow flags count as Biden-Harris flags? Yes, I would say they do. So the last round of polls are really weird, and Rasmussen actually has Trump down in Pennsylvania, but it's ranging from +2 Trump to +7 Biden, which is kind of massive. So,
Yeah. I think no matter what happens tonight, we need to remember that this isn't 2016, and even if Trump does win, that's not going to be it. That's just going to be the beginning of like another power struggle with like, deep state trying to push him out.
Well, he has been he was, I think, hinting that he might go after birthright citizenship if he wins the election, which
That'd be a good thing.
I think is
I
critical.
don't know.
Sorry?
He's not gonna go after it.
Yeah, I don't
Well, it is a second term, so he doesn't have to worry about re-election. I could see him actually getting stuff done. Like, obviously, he's not going to become based dictator Trump.
Although
but,
he doesn't control Congress anymore.
Yeah. Well, did he ever?
No. Then again, we still QAnon is probably real, so just trust the plan, everybody.
Yeah, trust the plan, man. Trust the plan. It'll all fix itself.
Trust the plan to give Israel more money.
Yep.
Trump's gonna use the black cube to summon a 4-dimensional tesseract and banish the Democrats into the warp.
That's probably going to happen. Let's see here.
I mean, I think the Q-tards would believe that if they got told that.
So I actually thought Biden was going to win for a while. I've kind of gone back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just pull this up.
He's
Sorry?
probably gonna win the popular vote.
Yeah, so I've seen estimates, which I don't believe, that Trump is going to win up to 40% of the Hispanic vote, which I don't think is going to happen. But even if he won half of that, let's see here. Someone says birthright citizenship would screw you over. That's not what birthright citizenship means. Birthright citizenship is if you're born in America, you get citizenship.
Yeah, and he wants to get rid of that.
I mean,
so.
if you're born to an American citizen, of course, you have American citizenship. That's something completely different. I never really got the whole birther meme because Obama's mother was an American citizen, so I feel like by definition that would make him an American citizen.
Yeah. I think for America it is matrilineal and patrilineal citizenship. So yeah.
I think their claim was you had to be born physically in the U.S. to be able to run for president. I don't know.
Well, that's just retarded.
Yeah.
I mean, Ted Cruz.
Wait, are we allowed to say the R word, or is that going to get the stream?
What's the R word?
Retarded.
Disabled.
Oh no, retarded.
Slow.
Retarded's fine. I don't care.
Okay, cool.
You just can't just try to avoid the N word and the F word and the G and the G word.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
really
if
obvious
you have
ones.
power?
Yeah.
Either of the G words. The one for
The J.
Asian
What about the J
American.
one?
The what?
The J one.
I prefer to call them the reptilians or the lizard.
Yeah,
people.
the lizard people. Yeah.
I call them my tribe.
So I'm looking at. Now, a lot of people have said target early isn't like legitimate. I don't really know. So the Republicans have actually a larger percentage of early voters were Republicans compared to 2016, and a somewhat lower percentage of Democrats have. It's only like a percentage point, but yeah. So just look at a couple states. You guys can talk. I'm just pulling these up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at Arizona. So in Arizona, of those who have already voted, 47% are registered Republicans compared to 46 are registered Democrats. So he's probably going to win Arizona. I can't really... Because, I mean, I guess the thing and why people are looking at it is because Biden kind of needs to have a lead going into Election Day, because people who vote on Election Day are going to break hard for Trump. Yeah.
Don't forget Montana is a swing state. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
So is Texas, apparently.
I mean, it's likely that the Democrat could win the Senate seat. That's going.
Well, yeah, the Senate seat, but yeah. But they're going to vote for Trump.
Because from what Serb tells me, Montana's very, I don't know if environmentalist is the right term, but they don't like when the Republicans try to bring in, like, the oil and gas companies to kind of rape and pillage the state. So they often will vote for a split ticket.
Yeah, in my state, a lot of people are going to vote for the Republican for governor, but probably still vote for Biden-Harris.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in Montana, it looks like it's a toss-up. It's pretty close. The Republicans have a slight advantage.
What is West Virginia looking like on the map?
Oh, West Virginia, I think, is the reddest state.
Okay, that's good.
I think it... Let me see here, political party stream.
Hi, Kevin.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Kevin, if you don't mind, what state are you from?
I live in Florida, Miami-Dade to be specific.
Ooh, what's the look on the ground?
A lot of Trump enthusiasm, like a lot. I'm seeing almost no Biden-Harris yard signs where I live. And I live in an area where, like in 2008, 2012, you did see a lot of Obama-Biden yard signs. Even in 2016, quite a few Hillary signs, but nothing for Biden this time. Like nothing.
Same story, I live in Washington.
Michigan's probably not going to be counted until tomorrow at the earliest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania,
Just started
3 days.
counting the ballots today, the mail-in ones.
Hey guys, we lost a few. We're going to have to redo the entire election.
So Trump won West Virginia by 42% last time. I think it's the reddest state. I think that's because West Virginia is so heavily based on coal. I think it's one of the whiter states. I'll have to look that up, though.
I think so.
One of the whitest.
Yeah.
I think Biden will do better than Hillary. Because I don't think Biden has said anything about putting co-workers at all work.
And,
Yeah.
you know, he's not scaring people into thinking we're going to start a nuclear war with Russia.
Right.
Yeah, West
Yeah.
Virginia is 94% white,
Nice.
so that's probably why. Okay, so let me just see here.
I still think Trump could easily win Minnesota this time around just because of the riots and the fact that Gary Johnson and McMullen aren't running this time.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about Minnesota. Let me just see if Trafalgar's done a poll there recently, but I think it's quite possible. I'm a little bit worried about Pennsylvania, to be honest. I don't think I'm basically called Florida at this point. I don't think Florida's going in the other direction.
Yeah. Pennsylvania really is almost a coin toss, though. It's, you know, it's hard to predict. Unlike Michigan, which will probably go red, and Florida, which probably will too.
Because Minnesota was really close last time. Let me just bring that up. Despite it being
Diverse.
like it wasn't even in play. Like no one even had it as a toss-up state.
Swings, yeah.
Let me see. Where's Minnesota? Yeah, Hillary won Minnesota by less than 2%. So
I mean, do you think the riots from the summer will impact it enough?
I'm not sure. Okay, so Gary Johnson's got 4% in Minnesota, and Evan McMuffin got, I think, more than what the difference was between Trump and Hillary.
Hmm.
So
So I guess. Oh, sorry.
Probably.
Do you think anyone's actually going to vote for Joe Jorgensen?
Of course not.
I don't even know who Joe Jorgensen is.
The libertarian candidate.
No, I mean, I know that they're running, but like,
Oh, yeah.
I think
Well, you
Kanye will
just gotta
probably get
vote
more votes than
libertarian.
her.
Yeah.
so according to this, of those who have voted early, 46% are registered Republicans in Montana, and 29% are registered Democrats. And it's already a higher turnout than it was in the previous election. So it's Trump might only win by about 20% there.
Oh.
Only.
Only 20%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think the only
Dropped out of the call.
Oh, damn.
I think the only reason Trump didn't win Nevada in 2016 was, again, Gary Johnson.
Mm.
As the Democratic nominee for the past few elections has always gotten around 530,000 votes, and then the Republican nominee's always gotten more and more each time. Then comes in Gary Johnson, so I think Trump could have just barely won the state last time.
Now, Evan McMuffin wasn't on the ballot in Nevada. I don't know. Did the Libertarians pick up more votes from Republicans or Democrats? I never am sure.
It's,
It's usually Republicans, I think.
but
Younger ones, too.
I'd say it leans Republican.
Very much so.
Independents and Republicans.
So, like, looking at it once again, we don't know if all the registered Republicans are going to vote Republican, all the registered Democrats are going to vote Democrat. But in Texas, 51% of voters are registered Republicans, and 39% are registered Democrats. So, someone says Nevada splits their electoral votes. No, you're thinking of another end state, Nebraska.
It's Nebraska.
And Nebraska's a very dark red state, so I'm not really worried.
Hey, Pseudo, mind if I ask, what state are you from?
myself.
Yes.
Well, I grew up in Maine, but right now I live in Kentucky. So I'm voting in
My
Kentucky.
southern brother.
Well, I guess I'm a carpetbagger, but I'm voting in Kentucky. I'm not really. I don't know. We always elect Democrat governors in Kentucky, but it's always heavy red for Senate races and presidential races, so not a big deal.
So looking at Nevada, it's pretty much a toss-up as to. So of those who have voted, 46% are registered Democrats, 45% are registered Republicans. So we'll see. There's not many people left.
So
to
sure
vote.
in Nevada. Nevada last time they had the Senate candidate, the senator, I forget his name, something or Dean Heller. He was roughly tied in the aggregate, but he lost by 6. This was in 2018. So Nevada it's a possible Trump win, but I would be a bit suspicious. But yeah, now the GOP is leading in Pinellas County, Florida, which is sort of the bellwether, and their lead in Florida overall has extended to 100,000 votes.
So
Florida's pretty safe bet.
So I'm not entirely sure how polling methodology works in the States. I'm a lot more, because I studied in school. I've just studied it in general. In Canada, I think they have to sample based on political party registration numbers, which just seems kind of bizarre to me.
I think the different companies do it with different methods. Like, there's no uniform regulations.
I don't think a lot of people think New Hampshire's going to flip.
I don't think it will.
It's possible, I guess, but I don't know.
Apparently, the entire northern half of Mexico threatens to secede.
What?
What?
Yeah, I'll post the thread that I found in general.
Yeah, so Republicans are way up compared to where they were last time in terms of mail-in or early voting. They're up by like 2.5%. Although the Democrats are also up, so we'll see how that goes. It's kind of funny because I think voter turnout is going to be higher this time. So in some states you have something like 90, you have over 100% have voted of how many voted last time. I don't know. Colorado.
I like how.
Let's take a peek at Colorado. That might be a dark horse.
I like how in 2016 people got scared into voting, and this year even more people got scared into voting. That's how you get maximum voter turnout. You have to terrify people into thinking the other guy winning will be the death of the nation.
Because, like,
good news about
It's surreal.
We're all aware of Maricopa County, right? Phoenix is located. Well, the Republicans apparently on election day vote are outnumbering people who voted, or it's roughly tied with Indies and Dems. So it's roughly about 50% Republican, 30% Independent, 18% Dem in Maricopa, which is sort of the bellwether of the state.
So I think it's possible. Let me just look at how much of the Hispanic vote Trump won last time. Because I think the 40% is like real, but I could still see him doing better. Because, I don't know, some people have told me Hispanics are pretty mad about the riots.
Very mad, believe me.
They are. They really hate those people.
Not as much brotherly love as some would hope.
Yeah, no, Hispanics are like actually racist, especially when compared to whites.
So
That's why, to be honest, the GOP, Republican Party, has to embrace strongmen.
Yeah, it does.
Diesel nationalism.
Yeah,
But the GOP never will.
Futurism.
Won't.
And they're also not going to give them free handouts.
The GOP isn't going to embrace strongmen, though. Like, after Trump, it's probably going to go back to being normicons and libertarian.
I can't see. I think at the very least, the GOP won't go back to rhetorical normicons. As in, I don't see. I can't see someone like, I don't know, Nikki Haley winning.
Well, yeah, they're going to put up someone who will lose in 2024, and then they might realize they need to change up things.
There are two people who I think you should look at for in 2020. One of them is more realistic. The other one is a wild card if he even decides to run, but would be good. That would be Senator Josh Hawley and Tucker Carlson.
That would be the meme ticket right there.
Josh Hawley.
I can't really see Tucker Carlson running. Like, as much as I'd want him to run, I know he'd win, I just can't see it.
Yeah.
I think the 2024 GOP ticket's going to be Pence for president, and his running mate's going to be Haley.
Okay, so last time
This is who I think will be the nominee in general.
so
If you want, Josh Hawley says that human trafficking is the result of the American sexual revolution in the 1960s because it encouraged premarital sex and the use of contraception, and that Hollywood was responsible. He also said there was a cosmopolitan elite, a class of elites who consider themselves citizens of the world, and the ADL called him an anti-Semite for it.
I guess I don't really see the connection.
He's also
Okay,
between
he has my
contraception
endorsement.
He's also introduced bills that ban social media censorship, puts massive tariffs on China that are permanent, $1 trillion subsidies into rural America in manufacturing sites, moving jobs away from D.C. He said he would not vote for any Senate SCOTUS nominee who isn't against Roe v. Wade. He's against getting involved in the Middle East. Let me check what else.
Okay, this guy unironically sounds based.
He's wow.
And wanted to end birthright citizenship.
He's way too good for the GOP to actually nominate him, though.
Yeah, I don't see it happening.
He'd be banned day one.
So Trump got
like the ADL hates him, so
Trump got
definitely not
29% of the Hispanic vote in
2016 or
in 2016. And 8% of the black vote, which I think is actually significantly higher. So one poll had him at 40% with the Hispanic vote. I don't think it's going to go that high, but I think even if he gets 30%, that'll help out a lot.
I actually think he's going to get about 35. And looking at polling and trends, I think he's going to get about 35%.
I think it will be over, like, it'll be around 5% increase from last time.
I think he's definitely going to get a higher percentage of the black vote this time too. I
don't know about that.
I'm pretty sure because first I don't think he can get less.
I saw a poll the other day showing that Latino support for Trump in California is like doubled since 2016. That could be it could be an indicator of how Latino support for him is changing across the country. That's another reason I think Florida's definitely going to go red this year.
I thought Cubans already supported him.
Yeah, they already vote Republican.
Yeah, but there's also like a lot of the younger, descendants of Cuban exiles. They lean more to the left.
Yeah, that's.
I'm one of the few that's not.
They might
with certain more.
This is a bit weird, but Trump is actually winning Venezuelans in Florida 2-1.
That's not surprising, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of Venezuelans who love Trump here. Like a lot of people who fled in the past few years.
He also apparently is. If any of you seen his numbers in Miami-Dade, he's within 10 in Miami-Dade, and they haven't even shown the on election day results yet.
Yeah, I've been following that because I live in the county. It's pretty unprecedented.
So it's possible Miami-Dade votes to the right of Hillsborough, which would be insane. Hillsborough.
Corporatist, sorry. Corporatist, I haven't asked you yet. What state are you from?
Pennsylvania. I voted this morning.
Good.
Nice.
Voted early with the family, like mid-October.
So looking at it, Romney got 26%, 27% of Hispanic and 6% of black. So Trump improved on that a little bit.
How much of the black vote did he get in 2016?
Let me see.
8%.
I think 8.
Yeah, he got 8%.
You have to-
I'm sure he's going to get more this time
You have to
because
keep
there
in
have
mind
been.
that's really amounts to a 4% because it's a two-party system. So Biden's
Yeah.
down by 2%.
The amount of.
I just noticed something interesting with New Hampshire. I'm going to put it here in the general chat. No, Trump barely lost New Hampshire last time by like 3,000. Yeah, only 3,000 votes. Take a look at general results for 2016. There were quite a few Republicans who just wrote in Mitt Romney, Paul Ryan, Jeb Bush, and they all got counted. Plus Gary Johnson running, well, certainly siphoned some votes away from Trump.
There's a word I'm thinking of that rhymes with hay that I would use to describe the write-ins. Like, I know Trump, there's a lot of issues with him, but I kind of feel at this point, like we've gone this far, there's not
Well,
really...
here's the thing. Trump, a lot of people don't like to undersell what Trump has done. His judiciary appointments overturned a 10-round magazine ban in California. He did cut all funding to the Syrian rebels. He has managed to reduce net immigration, by 50% before COVID, and 92% after COVID. He appointed someone to the Federal Communications Commission named Nate Symington. He was actually the dude who wrote Trump's social media censorship executive order. And the thing is, Trump, that executive order sent guidelines to the DOJ, and then the DOJ released them. Once this guy gets confirmed to the Federal Communications Commission, they'll vote 3-2 in favor, which basically will mean sometime in around early November or late November, social media censorship in the United States will be illegal.
So the wall is being built. I mean...
Yeah, like people say, oh, it's not new wall. Well, the thing is, the wall that was there before were just stacks of cars or like a
8-foot fence. Some of it actually looked like tank traps, like just dilapidated fence as well.
Mm-hmm. There were some old barriers that were up and were useful. You just had to fill in the gaps around them. So
he also made this. I'm just looking at a list of accomplishments. He did get other NATO allies to pay more money. America's a net gas exporter now. I mean, quite a few things
4
happened.
peace deals.
I mean, I think Trump has done more to earn a Nobel Peace Prize than Obama ever did.
What you're forgetting is melanin.
For sure.
You mean starting a new war in the Middle East every week shouldn't get you a Nobel Peace Prize?
I kind of think for his work in
He got the Nobel
Korea
Peace Prize
alone.
because he was African American. That's
The crazy.
I'm happy to see that Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I
I was about to say, one of the craziest thing about this election is that any one of the peace deals that Trump got for, and they're like, oh, well, he's rude. He makes fun of reporters. I'm like, what?
The thing is, the one reason why I should vote for Trump is because he's the only president in the entire Anglosphere to severely reduce illegal immigration.
Mm-hmm.
So according to Forbes, it's down by 50%. And do any of you remember the public charge rule?
No.
Yeah, I remember. I saw it.
65% of immigrants and non-citizens are on welfare. And what this does is that if you are expected to be a public charge, you can get your green cards revoked and you can't enter the country. It would reduce immigration roughly by 65%. And
nice.
The Supreme Court,
I'm happy about that change.
The Supreme Court upheld it. It's just a matter of when do we start seeing the numbers. It only got upheld a month or 6 months ago.
That new rule got implemented last year, right?
Oh yeah, it might have gotten implemented last year. There's been a real big blackout on census predictions. I think it's partially because the media wants to keep us blackpilled.
I mean, another thing about Trump, and I hate the Supreme Court. I kind of think it should just be abolished, and they should just make Clarence Thomas the Supreme Justiciar of America. But the people Trump appointed, I don't think are going to overturn the First or Second Amendment.
Yeah, they won't.
Even if, like, Gorsuch and to a lesser extent Kavanaugh are kind of sketchy, I don't think they're going to, like, legalize banning hate speech or take away people's guns. I don't
Probably
think they're
not.
going to overturn Roe v. Wade. I don't think the Supreme Court would vote to overturn it, even if it was entirely Republican.
I could see them restricting speech a bit on some things, but they're not going to be fully behind the Democrats on that.
Let me look at this.
I don't see them ever restricting the First or Second Amendments ever, because that would create such unrest.
If a Republican presidential candidate that ran on gun restrictions, he would lose. I think they all realize that gun control is now a partisan issue, and being forced.
Yeah, gun control. They're never going to do anything on. They're never going to try and introduce
Democrat
any.
majority, they probably would.
Well, even a ton of Democrats have been purchasing firearms.
The 10-round magazine ban in California, so now you can have like just 15, 20-round magazine if you live in the state. It's no longer illegal. But I think that if you want to combat gun control, it has to be at a local and state level, the whole Second Amendment sanctuary thing.
But like, I could see the current Supreme Court like being very pro introducing censorship against quote anti-Semitism.
I don't see that. Supreme Court upheld 9-0. This is when it was 5-4.
Well, what year was this?
Like 2015. They upheld
Okay.
speech is not a legal thing. That free speech must be upheld.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm looking at it. Stephen Breyer on the Supreme Court is 82. So who knows if he'll last. As much as I love Clarence Thomas, if Trump wins re-election, it might be a good time for him to retire.
Yeah.
And get someone younger.
I mean, you know Trump's not going to appoint someone as base as him, though. That's a sad thing.
Oh, no.
I think it's possible. I think Sonia Sotomayor has diabetes, so...
Send her to the heart attack row. I don't know, get COVID and shake her hand.
I like the woman who converted to atheistic Satanism because
RBG died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amy is very young, actually. She's only 48. So she could serve on the court for like 30 years.
She would serve in the court until 2052 if they go by the lifespan of Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Gorsuch is 53 and Brett Kavanaugh is 55. So they could be on the court for at least 20 years.
They're going to be on there for a while, yeah. Unless...
Wondering, I think there's one person you have to look out for in 24. He's really shit in foreign policy, but it would probably be a good vice presidential candidate to appease the neocons. That would probably be Tom Cotton.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
Tom Cotton, unironically, is one of the most base leaders on immigration in the entire Senate, along with Hawley and some other dude from Georgia. Hawley...
I think it's Mo Brooks, right?
Were the three people who wrote the RAISE Act. He also advocated for sending the federal government in with tanks to destroy the riots.
Based.
Nice.
I'd say on the foreign
TNM
policy
Square
front,
moment.
I was going to say on the foreign policy front, I'm happy to see that the Taliban deal hasn't fallen through yet. I'm happy to see. No, it hasn't. I'm happy to see that there are more troop withdrawals that are ongoing in Iraq. So maybe by this time next year, we won't have any troops whatsoever in Afghanistan or Iraq. So that's nice.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing.
Still angry that Trump killed Soleimani, but
now have a 100,000 vote lead and a 1% lead in Florida.
Where are you seeing? Are these exit polls or
no? This is actually data. Check general.
Okay, let me see. Joe is done. Early voting statistics.
Had a Wisconsin infographic.
Plus election day voting, plus in-person early voting. So this is all the votes.
So it says here, according to NPR, on Wisconsin campaign spending, Biden and allies spent $62.7 million. Trump and allies $38.8 million. So I guess Trump's internal polling says that he's probably going to win the state again.
Well, Trump just has way less money. Like, let me look at it. It's probably like a margin of 3 or 4 to 1.
I'm in a Discord server that gets on the foreigners called Plato's Republic, and they all suck Nate Silver's dick. Everybody who's not from the United States thinks Biden will win with like 413 electoral votes.
I don't think Trump winning is like a guarantee or anything.
See, Biden is going to win Ohio, Iowa, Texas, and every swing state is retarded.
Like Montana, that swing state.
Yeah. Some called Let's Talk Elections said that Mississippi was likely Republican.
I've seen Alaska likely Republican.
It's so stupid. I've seen
Texas.
Virginia likely Republican. I saw a poll that gave Trump like a 10-point lead in Wyoming. So
I don't know how much of it is like they're stupid and how much of it is they're deliberately like rigging the polls.
The issue is the
know
people who are into elections, like the election mafia, they tend to lean Dem like 3 to 1, so they have to appeal to their audience and then get proven wrong later on. But they'd rather not lose subs.
Now, what happened last time, which was especially sleazy, maybe I'll bring that up in a minute, but what happened last time is they released accurate polls like the day before the election so that they could say like retroactively, oh, we predicted it.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, they were within like a margin of error for a while.
Nationally, yes. State level, no.
Well, yeah, nationally, yeah.
We'll get to that in a second. I'm just looking up if there's fundraising data available. So, is there a total? Just trying to.
What for? What state?
Just total national.
I don't think there is. You can use Target Smart though, although it's not the most accurate.
Let's see. These from 2022.
Okay, so apparently in the early vote overall, the Democrats are up by about 5.9 points, which is what they're polling at.
Sorry, nationally?
Right. But nationally, they're only up 5.9 points in the early vote. It's pretty significant because Biden is leading by that, which makes me think that they're polling at just people who vote by mail or early. That the people who are voting in person are just working when they're doing polling. I know there's a trend where most people who answer polls are women. Like sometimes you'll see polls that are
really?
57% female.
Oh.
The reason why pollsters will actually call. Oftentimes when pollsters call people, the female will be the one who's in the house to answer.
Interesting.
So the Democrats outspend them by 2 to 1. It looks like. I love
That's
this
less than I thought.
meme that the Republicans
Trump was like down 3 to 1 in 2016 when spending. Trump is very good at making use of limited resources.
See, I'm not sure because I think they're combining presidential and congressional. So I'll see if I can find just that much.
Well, the thing is that like Republican areas are also a lot poorer than like coastal areas. Like,
Okay, so I can't find anything consistent other than the fact that Biden's raised more, because there's so many like ways that they go about this sort of thing that
Republicans are up 12 in the Texas early vote.
Only 12?
Yeah, they're up. Well, here's the
No,
thing. That's actually,
Texas was marginally close last time, I think.
it was like up 9 in the general election last time. So if they're up by 12 in the early vote, that means they could win, the Texas by Romney or McCain tier margins. McCain, if you look at it, Hillary did worse than Obama in 2008. It's just that McCain did better than Trump, because there weren't that many third-party voters.
Did
But
he?
he's-
I thought McCain didn't do very well there.
Oh, give me a moment. If we look at the 2008 election in Texas, McCain won 55% of the vote, and Obama won 43.68%. So only was leading by like 11 points. 2012, Mitt Romney wins by 16. 2016, Hillary gets a slower percentage of the vote than Trump. It's just that Trump underperformed John McCain by 3 points to the third-party voters. So I could very well see Trump, winning Texas by a bigger margin than last time. Not by like 60% or something, but I could easily see him getting like 54, 55, 56. I'll actually DM you, Arjun, or I'll just post in general the results, and you can compare them, I guess.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, okay, sure, go ahead.
Huh.
I'm seeing Ohio.
What actual states are a toss-up? Because I'm thinking, like, I thought Florida was going to be it. Maybe,
Pennsylvania's
Nevada,
a toss-up for sure.
Oh yeah, now
Min-
Biden's lead in Pennsylvania is plus 1.2 in
Mm.
the aggregate.
oh,
Sorry,
Trump
which thing
actually
are you looking at again?
So you scroll back up, and then click on latest polls.
With Texas, though, how long do you think it'll be before it does become a blue state? How many
I
years
think
do you give it?
the GOP is able to get if they're able to run sort of like Chad Cadillo types, and they get like 40% of the Hispanic vote, it might not be for a while.
I mean, maybe.
I think it'll happen. I think
Mild man, a bit more gentle than Trump is, but he can still fill sort of a strongman role. He seems like the type of dude to own anyone in the debates. Hawley is another example. He's more soft-spoken than Tucker, but he's also like a 6'6".
tall man, good.
He would do worse in Trump than rural areas, but in the suburban areas, he'd do way better.
Well, also, like, the immigration into Texas isn't just from, like, across the border. It's also from California.
That shows that demographic change in Texas is actually not that significant of a factor when it comes to the way it's been trending. It is a factor. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of it's due to liberal whites.
Well, yeah, no, that's what I'm
The locust.
saying. It's like Californians coming in.
Well, here's the thing. This is actually a trend that might not persist for long. When you look at Texas, you look at Ted Cruz versus Beto. People who moved to Texas voted for Ted Cruz by like 20 points.
Well, I mean, Beto couldn't have been much of a worse candidate. Like, if they put up someone
Ted
insane.
Cruz was pretty bad as well because, he ran for president and got completely humiliated.
Yeah.
beyond humiliated.
But he's not the one telling Texans he wants to take away all their guns and is going to go door to door.
Only said that after he lost and wanted to run for president. He said to text people in Texas when he was running for Senate, I'm not going to take your AR-15 away from you.
And he changes his mind after he loses. Yeah.
He's no longer running in Texas. He's running for a general election.
Yeah. Totally principled people.
I wonder.
Too much. I think one of the best ways for the GOP to win over minorities is just to give them gives.
Well, yeah, that's the best way to win anyone over.
I don't think they can ever give as much money though, so I think it's kind of pointless. I do think the GOP should just give up on the healthcare question.
No, I think what they
Yeah,
should just try to endorse semi-UBI for couples. I don't know, give couples just money to buy health insurance. It's the simplest thing you could do. Probably a lot more efficient than making a whole bureaucracy dedicated to public health.
Hey, Corporatist, do you have any numbers on sort of white janissaries that moved from California to Texas?
Let me check.
Well, I call them locusts.
it's more accurate. Yeah.
I went with the Mike Enoch term because I like the word janissary. Because it's like the janissaries were like traitors to their people, serving the Turks.
Well, traitors kidnapped at birth, so.
Hey, well, this isn't a Texas. The vast majority of Californians moving to Idaho are Republicans.
Into Idaho?
Yeah. I actually think that another theory you could do is that the woke sort of left is going to cause a collapse of the Democrats' electoral coalition. Once they start, because the Democratic Party is sort of like they seem to be ignoring more affluent minorities and some Hispanics in favor of blacks and LGBT people. I have a feeling that eventually they're going to consider Asians to be sort of
okay, someone's asking you join the Discord call by just clicking on the viewer hangout. Also, if people aren't like talking or whatever, if you could please just leave, just so there's room for other people. You can still listen to it on the live stream. Just I want to give everybody who wants to come in a chance to come in.
He's talking to you, Vex.
Damn.
Asians are going to be considered the white people of non-white people by Democrats soon. I this might be a bit optimistic, but I have a feeling that more affluent minorities are going to turn Republican as the Democrats are going to appeal.
I'm guessing small business members. Small business owners.
Maybe.
So that's the group that I think when I think of like minorities that vote for Trump.
Yeah, but that's not like.
I saw several.
That's not a huge.
Showed Trump improving among Hispanics in Florida by double digits. Last time he won like 28% of the 20 to 30% of the Hispanic vote in Florida. Now it's like 50 to 60%. So.
In Florida, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
He barely won Cubans and was doing horrible among other Hispanics. Now he's pulling at like near tied overall and getting like 70% of the Cuban vote.
Has old Biden even said anything to sort of try and like draw in Hispanics?
He literally hasn't. I haven't really. The one thing he did actually hurt him was when he was in like a large city in Texas and played Despacito.
Yeah, that was one of the cringiest moments of the campaign.
Okay, I want to ask a question. Okay, this for you guys in the chat too. Could you name some like actual policies each candidate has?
Biden's surprisingly running on like we're gonna, get American jobs and stuff like that, all the usual stuff to win over voters. But no one actually cares about the issues is the thing. It is entirely like an identity-based voting.
I just wanted to give people a chance to like try.
Okay, sorry. I spoiled the joke.
Trump might be.
Reports were just to appeal to the Warren people. He said that in like a call with Wall Street people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't think of really any actual issues.
I know Biden's just been doling out platitudes like there's no tomorrow, more so than Trump.
Have any of you seen that sign but we believe in science. No human being is illegal.
Yes,
Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen
Oh, yeah,
that
all the
sign
fucking
so
time.
many times. That was back in 2016 too. I saw that a lot.
It's just a sign of leftist platitudes. And some Catholic dude, Catholic trad made a parody of that, saying that sodomy and usury are evil. Stuff like about logos and platitudes aren't substitutes for political talking points.
Oh, sorry, side thing. So there, I don't know, some I don't know if it's British or American or whatever, but they're casting some black woman to play Anne Boleyn in a historic.
It's
Yeah, I
British.
saw that.
Of course, it's
Okay, check
British.
out.
Yeah,
Queen
it's
Elizabeth.
definitely British.
Always going to be a British thing.
LGBTQ stands for lesbian, gay, British, transgender, queer.
Unironically, this.
BTQ
Yeah?
stands for Let's go bully the queers.
Let's go bully the Anglos.
Let them burn
What's the
quickly.
difference?
PM do something. I think you should show it on stream. This Trump is actually seeing a massive surge in Pennsylvania right now.
Okay, that's good. If he wins Pennsylvania, he's almost certainly winning.
If he clinches Florida and Pennsylvania, he's certainly going to win.
Yeah. I mean, Florida, it's looking like a pretty safe bet. It's going to go for Trump.
Isn't Trump, because I see Trump listed as being from Florida now.
His new address technically is in Florida. Like, he voted in West Palm Beach the other day.
Okay, so yeah, they did the same thing. Look at this, for those of you who are looking at this stream. Mysterion Flex, you just joined the voice chat on the server that's called Viewer Hangout. That's pretty much it. So I'm looking at it. So in the last 2 days, it's gone from Biden being up 4 to Biden being up 1. So
I actually saw yesterday online like a pro Biden ad saying that you better go out and vote because Trump is winning Florida by 4 points. So even they know that they're screwed.
Yeah. I mean, did anyone think Florida was going to go blue, like,
Not really, no.
recently? Yeah.
You know, I think back like April, Trump was down by like polls sometimes 10 points in Florida, and Richard Spencer was saying Trump was probably going to lose Florida by like double digits.
Oh, the other thing in Minnesota is that Kanye West is running there.
Yeah, that'll definitely split the Democrat
No,
vote.
I think he might
yeah.
pick up a couple percent. Like, even if he gets like 2%, that's
Such
like
a meme.
huge.
I'll probably pick
No,
up more
like-
than Joe Jorgensen.
Unironically, he will pick up, like, more than the Libertarians.
The thing with
Kanye-
Kanye is I think it was supposed to be a gay op, like, because he's friends with Trump. So I think his goal
Yeah.
was to try to get some conservative or religious black voters who won't vote for a Republican to, like, vote for him. But he fucked
But it
it up
backfired.
because
Yeah.
Kanye West is crazy. I'm not going to say he's retarded, but he's, like, bipolar or
He's-
something.
He's a weird guy.
Black Democrats and a young irony.
He's a 14-year-old boy.
Kanye could prevent those people from voting for Trump in just the right amount of numbers that Trump wins Minnesota.
Because if you look at like Kanye West's platform, it's like a mixture
Political
of, like,
platform, White House government based on Wakanda or whatever
but
it
he
is.
also has like support for illegal immigration and
Yeah.
and like prison reform and stuff like that, combined with just all of his policies mention Jesus in it.
Pretty nice.
Yeah.
That's just a complete gay off.
Biden is only up by 1 in Arizona, polling average.
See, I wasn't sure because I think the strategy. So I don't think there was a strategy with Biden. I think what happened was it looked like Bernie was going to win, and the Democrats are terrified because Bernie, I think, actually believes the rhetoric. So he would
Yeah.
actually tax the rich, most of whom were
He would have bit the hand that fed him.
Democrats.
Yeah.
So just when Super Tuesday was coming around, they just told all the other candidates drop out and endorse Biden. We're just going to have to go with him.
Yeah. Okay, I found the Kanye West thing. anti-vaccine, pro-life, America First foreign policy, reinstating school prayer, White House organizational model based on Wakanda.
Isn't there also prison and immigration reform or something?
Yeah, there is, but that's not funny.
Every other word Kanye says makes me think he's a 14-year-old boy.
I found out the other day that the Chamber of Commerce is starting to shift a lot of donations and endorsements away from Republicans into Democrats just because the Republicans in certain districts are more anti-immigration than they were in previous cycles.
Yeah.
Because, the business lobby loves cheap labor.
Keep in mind, like, mass immigration is not that popular even among, like, minorities.
Cesar Chavez got famous for beating up immigrants on the border.
Like, it's not very popular. It's very popular among the elites. But, like,
Yeah.
I'll talk to liberals even who complain about it. Like,
Hey, what's up, guys? Everybody in their bunkers yet?
Well, I'm kind of above ground, so no.
Oh, well, good enough.
But my apartment is pretty solid concrete.
Well,
I have
At
my
least I can't burn it down.
I have my entrenching tool next to my door. So
Good idea. Very good idea.
Hey, Journey,
Oh,
what state are you from?
Wait, are you saying you have a World War II style trenching tool or a modern one?
a modern one, but it's like a bladed shovel.
Yeah, like the ones that the Green Berets use, right?
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm familiar. But, so, I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to much news, honestly. I've just been, like, talking to my brother and, like, cooking breakfast and shit. Like, has anything gone down yet?
Oh, bike corporist.
Huh?
Apparently Pennsylvania's, like, it's getting more towards Trump than it previously was.
That's a very good...
I kind of feel if Trump wins Pennsylvania, it's over. But, I mean, like, I don't think it's a sure thing Trump's going to win. Like, until last week, basically, I thought there was a 60% chance Biden will win. Like, I'm only about 60% sure Trump will win now, and that's not, like, huge. So, I think if the polls had Biden up by, like, a couple points, that would have been fine. But they, like, went into such overkill. Like, let me just find Montana, because once I started seeing Trump up, like, 6 in Montana, I just thought it was a joke from then on. Okay, so let's see, Montana. So the last 4 polls have Trump up 7, 6, 8, and 6. And Trump won the state by 21 points last time. So let me look at the battleground map.
Is there a gubernatorial and senatorial campaign going on there now?
The Democrats could win that one because the guy who's running is a former governor. Montana often goes split. Serp's from there, and he says it's because Montana doesn't want development like in oil and gas because they like being a rural, low-populated state. So they'll vote Democrat on like a state level. He is also, because he ran for president, and he was literally physically removed from the competition because they were having, in one of the debates, he was like, we shouldn't give free health
care to illegal immigrants.
No,
before citizens,
and like he got like called a racist and kicked out.
Yeah. It's like not even we shouldn't give it to, illegal aliens. We shouldn't give it to them before citizens. That's a far right position.
Mm-hmm.
Crazily enough, like where I live, is they don't do logging in Montana. Like they do it in Washington. It's like the conservative and liberal, like Democrats and Republicans, both agree that like selling logs is something we should do.
I don't think the Republicans are going to take the House.
Probably
I think the
not.
Senate.
Chance there.
I think keeping the Senate is possible. Oh, sorry.
I-
They're saying someone's too loud. If you could just put in chat, because I can control people's volumes, so just let me know.
If
Oh, right, you can't see people's names. Okay.
yeah, so I'm just gonna say, how are they gonna tell who's saying it?
We can just all say our names.
Okay,
Oh.
I'm Alighieri.
I'm Millhouse Nancy Metz Irish Cream.
I am Daddy Duck.
And I am Kevin Gallego.
Okay, Kevin, you're probably the one who's too loud, so let me just turn you down a bit.
My personal position on why a lot of the polls, especially in the Midwest, are off is people just don't like talking to the press. It's it's a proper thing when you're doing like statistical research or like any type of research that the person who is conducting the interview affects how people answer it. And a lot of people, especially Trump supporters in the Midwest, just hate the media. So if they get a call from CNN asking who they're going to vote for, they're just going to hang up the phone. So I think that actually significantly affects how people vote. Like, it's not
I
so
know
much.
it's kind of a meme that like no one does the actual polls, but does anyone here actually ever done a poll personally or know someone who was?
My dad did.
I normally do them
Okay.
if I get
Yeah,
one.
my dad back in the primaries got a call. But yeah, I've known a few people.
All right.
Yeah.
Because like I don't doubt people do them. It's just never hear about it.
Oh, hey, welcome back.
Yeah. But yeah, I think to go back to the thing about the Senate, like every prediction has the Republicans holding the Senate more likely than Trump winning. So I think if Trump wins, then the Senate is definitely staying red. And even if Trump loses, there's a pretty big chance that the Senate is still majority Republican.
I know there's the Senate map. You have one seat that's guaranteed to flip, and that's Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama was such bullshit. How they
literally Doug Jones and Roy Moore got half the votes Hillary got. There was such low turnout in that state.
Had it been Luther Strange going up against,
And the thing is, even if Republicans lose Maine, Arizona, North Carolina, and Colorado, they still get 50 Senate seats.
Yeah, and in all of the polling of especially southern states, the Senate Republicans are polling higher than Trump is. So even if Trump loses North Carolina by like 1 point, it's entirely likely that the Republicans get the Senate there. So
and
even if
you also have Michigan, Gary Peters is the senator from Michigan. Nobody's heard of him. John James is running ahead of Trump in Michigan. He overperformed the polls last time. So I think if Trump wins Michigan, John James wins his seats. My prediction is 52-48 Republican. Although on a best case scenario, I would say it's more like 54-46.
I know Jeff Sessions tried to retake his seat, but he lost in the primary runoff.
Fuck Tommy too. I mean, if I was in Alabama, I'd still vote for him, but I wouldn't be happy with it.
Why does Mitt Romney have to be the senator for Utah? Like, couldn't they get someone better?
Well, they probably could.
Probably what they're worried about.
I mean, if he was the senator from like Massachusetts, that would be fine, or some like liberal state.
Well, guess what? The other senator from Utah is just as bad. Mike Lee. He attempted to pass a bill in the Senate Bill 386, 7 times, and this bill essentially removes the country cap for H-1B visas. You know what's even more funny? He was outside the Senate hall talking to Indian nationals about how he will help them get jobs with this bill. So the bill literally means that one country can take up 100% of H-1B visas, and it increases the amount of them. So it would be like 100% Indians.
Whatever happened to the Mormons? Like, they used to be white Sharia cult with death squads and secret police. Now they are Mitt Romney.
Oh no, they still are. That's just their public face.
I think the Arizona Republican Party, I'd say, is worse. I mean, in 2016, you had Jeff Flake, who went out and endorsed Biden. He's a fucking retard. And John McCain. Now you have Kristen Sinema and Martha McSally, who looks like she's going to lose her seat. That being said, Arizona actually has a dissident right congressman in the U.S. Congress, Paul Gosar. He follows several dissident right people on Twitter, like Steve Saylor, VDare, Pete Deabroska, and he's endorsed several dissident right congressional candidates. One of them is a candidate running in Delaware who has a neo-reactionary campaign manager. No, I'm not making this up.
What?
Like Moldbug neo-reactionary?
Like a trash neo-reactionary.
Okay. Yeah. We don't need, people advocating that we split the world up into Belgium-sized companies run by CEOs. Yeah.
No.
Dude, when's David Arini gonna run for president?
No, Arini's not going to run for president. He just needs his 5 good men, and then he can make himself king of Canada.
Yep.
Kind of funny how I'm looking at old Democrats from the 1990s, and you had the Democratic governor of Pennsylvania in like the 90s, Bob Casey Sr. According to Wikipedia, he led the anti-abortion wing of the Democratic Party, attempted to sue to get Roe v. Wade undone. He also was for expansion of gun rights and shit.
Just a side note. If a couple of people are complaining they're banned. My mods do ban some people, but not too many. Discord is, I think, auto bans some people. Mysterious Flex. Oh, ECM. Yeah, so it seems to be auto-banning people, and there are people who aren't on the ban list who are showed up as being banned. So, just so you know, I'm not actively trying to, block you or anything. It's just... I don't know if you're banned from something else, but, yeah. Mysterio and Flex, I sent you an invite. Anyways.
So what do you guys think is going to happen after the election?
I think a lot of lost ballots are going to change some of the states blue.
If the Trump does well, it may not be enough. I mean, they tried to do that and it didn't work back in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've had my idea of what the worst case scenario is, and what it is they're still counting ballots up into tomorrow or the next day, but there's big riots in the cities. So one of the precincts gets burned down in that, and a bunch of ballots are lost, and then the election is inconclusive. Because there's really nothing you can do after that, right? I mean, it would probably help Trump because a lot of Biden votes would probably be in where the rioting is happening, but it would also permanently stain the legitimacy of Trump.
And then you're going to have them trying to do deep state BS to try and get him out of power.
Yeah. There was actually a group of there was a group of dozens of federal employees who were in a Zoom call discussing how they're going to take out Trump.
Yeah, that's
they were considering shutting down the White House and trying to get some generals to intervene, which is treason. I just found this out a few days ago.
They're not going to get generals to intervene unless Biden wins and then Trump refuses to step down, because they need to at least have some semblance of legality if they're going to remove Trump and he wins properly.
I think it's going to be
it would be based of Trump, he had a rally with all the National Guard in one location, and the general is declaring an enemy of the state, and he just marches on the Potomac River like Julius Caesar does and takes over.
He crosses the Rubicon.
Yes.
What's going to be interesting is seeing how Antifa and BLM, which are, let's be honest, just the paramilitary wing of the Democratic Party, how they react in the case of the Trump victory and assuming the Democrats don't throw their weight behind them.
I think the Democrats... I think I think the Democrats are willing to sacrifice a few of their green standards. It's like I don't think they really care about what happens to BLM and Antifa. They just want to use them, sort of force action.
I
Like,
think
hey,
a
look
lot of the higher ups in the Democratic Party don't really like those people because they are just like old people moderates and don't really see those people as they see them as like political allies, but not someone they're going to stick their neck out for.
disposable pawns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're not the green banner; they're the green standard. Like the Qing army.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Qing banners, Manchu banners. But what I'm thinking is, if their deep state machinations to try and remove Trump doesn't work, they might try and use the paramilitary to basically try and remove Trump from power.
Reached a turning point, guys. The Republican lead in Florida now exceeds Trump's 2016 lead in Florida. They're currently leading all votes by 111,000.
Well, yeah, I know that they're going to riot no matter what. The question is, are the Democrats going to fully support them on that? Because if the Democrats do, then it's going to be harder to suppress them.
Because let's see, do many of you live in the Philly area?
I don't.
Well, the thing is, there is actually a road that takes you straight to Philly within viewing distance of the Philly area, and that road or that area, it's so close to the ghetto, it's ridiculous. It's like very nice, ultra-rich, luxury suburban homes and ghetto. I'm worried that there's going to be riots. They're going to come into the suburbs.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think in most places it's not going to spill over to the suburbs just because shit is too far for people to march all the way.
It'll be funny if there's a precinct or there's a very big area where Democrats are voting and there's riots and the rioters start attacking people who are going to vote for Biden because they're just stupid. Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah, no, it's possible. Although polls close in just 6 hours in a lot of the East Coast, so not that far away.
The first states to have the polls close are around 6 or 7 p.m. Indiana and Kentucky, which, let's face it, they're going for Trump.
Yeah, I mean, that's not too interesting, but Florida closes a bit after that, and that one is pretty interesting.
Yeah, yeah, the Republicans are within 13 points of Miami-Dade. Or not Miami-Dade, Palm Beach. And they're losing Miami-Dade by 10 points. So that's literally that means they're losing Miami-Dade by 19 points less than they did last time. They also flipped Pinellas County, Florida, which is sort of a bellwether, now flipped into the Republican column. And the Panhandle hasn't even really recorded its votes yet, as far as I can tell.
Right, so you're saying Florida is a bit safer for Trump, or at least you'd lean that way?
I think Trump would win it a couple hundred thousand.
Yeah, well, because I was looking at the election map last night, and he really does need Florida. Because if he has Florida and he holds the rest of the South, and it comes down to Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, and Pennsylvania, which I think it will. He only needs to win 2 of those, and then he wins.
He's probably going to win Michigan. It'll be close, but he'll probably win.
If Florida shifts right in a presidential election, then usually Michigan shifts right the same amount. So I think Trump will win Florida by 3 to 4%. If that's the case, then we could see Trump winning Michigan by 1 to 2%, maybe even 3%. I see some people who think Trump will win Florida by even more than that. Just keep in mind, I want to check how many people voted so far. Only about 800,000 people have voted on Election Day so far in Florida. Of those people, Republicans are getting 50% of the vote. Democrats are getting 25%, and the remaining 24% is going 2/3 Republican, those being unaffiliated. So Trump is winning 2/3 of the on election day vote in Florida. And if this lead persists for the whole night, Trump could win Florida by like 5 to 6 points.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm hesitant to predict it by that much, but I do think that he will have it by a few
By
points.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see Richard Spencer's prediction.
Dude.
Oh God.
Why does he matter?
He's
Yeah,
gonna
who
be
cares what
the,
that guy thinks?
Texas turning blue.
Richard
Oh
Spencer,
God.
Montana's a swing
did any of you
state.
see that he made a graphic where like Richard Spencer is with Team Joe? He
No,
made it.
let's see.
Ugh.
Yeah. I don't know.
He also
kind of lost relevance in the past few years.
Well, as a person who called Heraclidian Fire, and to be honest, given the name, I probably think it's a Spencer All. And that freaking account is basically a racist liberal. They actually believe Trump is a threat to democracy. They view him as a terrible president, but like a race realist.
Oh, hi,
I
Longtail.
mean, Spencer's basically been irrelevant since he dunked on Sargon in that debate a couple years ago.
I don't
There
know.
are shits on the blue hats.
Oh yeah, but they're not actually that important.
That important. Like, I'm worried that first of all, the National Justice League racist. Have you heard of actually believe Trump is a threat to democracy?
Hold on. Someone's doing an echo.
They
I
view
think
him
it's
as a
Timmy.
terrorist.
Hey, Longtail, Timmy.
Timmy, mute your mic or put in headphones or something.
They basically swap Timmy.
Trump is a little beanbag who sleeps on a toe all day, bro. That's my take. Screw that.
We get it. Just
Okay.
mute your mic. But
Was that?
And he just
was that
left.
trolling? Was that
He
troll?
did his little dumb fucking joke.
they are a political party because they haven't registered with the FEC. But I'm worried that there are going to be some Wignats who run, maybe get 1% of the vote in 2024 and steal the election from Tucker Carlson. He didn't, like, I don't know, say we need to nuke Tel Aviv or something, you know?
Oh, yeah. What was it? One
my God.
of the Argent's, national infrastructure organizations, the NJP. He had an acronym for it.
Tucker Carlson hasn't said that we need to declare a certain nation a terrorist state and that we need to do mass deportations of non-whites. He must be controlled up. The thing is, Tucker Carlson, unironically, is like friends with people like Scott Greer. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Scott Greer, the same, the Michael McGregor, the guy who wrote for Radix Journal. He follows him on Twitter. Tucker also, oftentimes in the show, will take tweets from random anons that I follow that have like 1,000 followers. So I think either it's him or somebody in his circles like actually secretly just isn't it right. He made fun of Charlie Kirk when Charlie Kirk said we need to staple a green card to a diploma, referencing the whole Gripper thing. Remember when Charlie Kirk? Remember when he was holding conferences and Gripper came in and started to interrupt him? Tucker Carlson was referencing that. I think Tucker, ironically, is like a dissonant right. Maybe not to the extent of someone like Spencer, but like...
Yeah,
he's further to the right than normal Republicans, but he's still really a moderate. He just has
Certainly
a more forceful personality.
Let me check. He's apparently...
He's like pro-gay marriage and shit like that, so...
Apparently he's following Jim Goad. He's also following Scott Greer. Let me check some of people. Charles Murray, so I guess he's a race realist.
Have you guys read Charles Murray's new book? It's good.
Ann Coulter, she unironically has retweeted Mike Enoch.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, like Coulter
Based Granny.
Or Pat Buchanan back in the day. They're all certainly the right of the Republican Party. But what is good is someone like Carlson is extremely popular and very accessible to most people.
I think he probably watches Nick Fuentes, but just in the closet.
I wouldn't go that far. I think it is.
No, I don't.
I think it's
That's too helpful.
it's very likely that at least one of the people who writes for him, like one of the people who works at the show, like is involved in our circles. I don't think that's too
I
far
mean,
off.
didn't we get that confirmed? Like when that one writer he had a couple weeks back got fired. Well, months back got fired.
Tucker didn't even really denounce him. He kind of felt.
Yeah, he didn't.
He basically said it in the best possible way he could have done it. And the thing is, Tucker doesn't even run the Daily Caller anymore. He's too busy.
They've run him in years.
So he follows this guy on Twitter. Scroll through some. Look at some of the people he's following.
I follow him too.
Yeah, Scott Greer, the guy who wrote for Radix Journal, who he's following people like Tucker Carlson actually had Darren J. Beatty and Pedro Gonzalez on his show who were dissonant right, unironically. Darren J. Beatty.
Pedro on the show the other day.
Darren J. Beatty, he's sort of like sailor tier dissonant right. And he also actually said he also Tucker Carlson defended VDARE and said that it wasn't a white nationalist site.
Well, yeah, Tucker is like as far right as you can acceptably be.
What can you show it?
Yeah.
I'm worried if he ran for
Although
president.
I don't think it's going to stay that way.
That if he ran for president, he would be assassinated or something.
There'd be some bullshit machinations to try and take him out of the race.
And it'd be funny. Survives an assassination attempt, and a group of Anons from 4chan form like the Palatini Guard and just guard him.
Like they form black shirt death squads to protect Duce Carlson.
They got her gunmen. Somebody take the bullet.
Just to say, if I'm not talking a ton, I'm kind of saving my voice for later. There's not anything
Fair
like
enough.
super urgent, so I'm just letting people talk.
Yeah.
I'll butt in if I have a hot take.
All right.
Actually, I got an interesting question for you guys. Are there any like statewide ballot measures, like in your states, that you're afraid might pass, like bad measures?
I mean, I'm in
There's one
Texas,
that I
so
hope
everybody already has guns here, so we don't really have to do anything like that.
There's one in my state that I hope passes. It's just about gerrymandering.
Are you talking about a law? Are you talking about laws here? I thought you were just talking about preparing for the shit show.
No, there's referendums on the ballots. That's what he's asking about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
There's six. Here in Florida, there's six state constitutional amendments.
oh yeah, and Arjun, thanks for clearing that Discord thing up. By the way,
I think unironically that do any of you know about Nebraska? How it has a second district.
I don't know anything about Nebraska.
No.
Please tell us.
Sorry, pause for a second, guys. Okay, so I have a super chat from the Lizard Viking. Thank you very much. Should Trump just go full Palpatine and reform the U.S. into the first American empire? Should he win re-election? P.S. Love your channel. Thank you very much. I mean, that would be cool if he could. The whole God Emperor thing
but
is
he can't.
No, it would be disastrous. There is no USA Palpatine. Nobody has that kind of power. Power is way too distributed in the United States.
I mean, the
you guys
Supreme
know
Court
this.
could do that if they wanted.
No.
Oh yeah. The Supreme
No.
Court
The
just
Supreme
declares-
Court could.
I think the Supreme Court could.
You think
Yeah.
we could, so let me get this straight. You think
Dude,
you
the
could,
Supreme
you
Court
think
changed the nature of marriage and introduced abortion through the right to privacy.
So you think-
they can do whatever they want?
I 100% disagree. I think you're forgetting everything Moldbug ever talked about.
Trump actually
Yeah,
issued-
well,
issued-
Moldbug's smarter. He's smarter than me. I'll say
issued an
that.
executive
Like
order that
he
demands
studied this shit a
Okay,
lot
one
better
at a
than me.
time, guys. One at a time.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
executive order that demands every federal worker to pledge an oath of loyalty to the president.
No, I think the Supreme Court could, find in the Constitution that whatever the amendment is that prevents running more than 2 times to be unconstitutional.
Yeah, since that
Or-
was only introduced in 44 when
So let
FDR
me-
died.
So let me get this straight. From a geopolitical standpoint, you guys seriously think the U.S. is governable as it currently stands? You actually
Yes,
think that?
When did we say?
That's amazing.
I don't know if we
I mean,
said that.
We didn't say governable.
Well,
We
if
said
you
the
well, if you
Supreme
well,
Court
well,
could
well,
dictate.
Palpatine would be Palpatine has a governable empire, and America is not that.
Dude,
That's
it
my
was
only.
it was a meme.
You're taking the comparison
Yeah,
way
we're
too
just
literally.
memeing, bro.
Joke.
Dude, you have no profile pic. Or do you happen to be friends with someone at the FBI? I'm just curious.
No, I'm not. What are you talking about? God, you guys are. I don't know. You guys are weird, man. I'm just some guy from Texas. That's all I
Only a
am.
Fed would get upset that some guy called him a Fed.
No, it's
Okay,
not.
guys,
It's just that
stop
you're
calling
annoying.
each other
Okay,
feds.
chill out.
Yeah,
Say
calm
you're
down,
being
calm down.
annoying.
Okay, like, guys, stop. I'm gonna start
Okay.
banning. I'm gonna start kicking people in a minute.
All right, that's fine. I'll.
That's fair.
Irish
moving
Cream
on.
sends a $10 super chat and says, "I am the coolest." You gave
I am
me
the coolest.
money, so you are the coolest.
Yeah, Irish Cream. I always see you in comment section. I've been seeing you in comment sections on these videos for like years. Not just Argent ones, but
My senior year of high school.
Okay, I'll be back in a sec. Just have a call. I need
All
to
right.
take.
So is anything going? So again, like, what's the news right now? Like, is there any updates except for like elections?
Well, here's the thing. Biden estimated the percentages that Trump needs to win Florida. 56% of the election day vote. But here's the thing. Trump is set to get 67% of the election day vote in Florida, based off of what I've been looking at right now. So I think Florida. I don't want to get too cocky, but I think Florida, Trump has it in the bag.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. Like, we won't have like real solid numbers till like 7 p.m. or so, right?
I think that's when we'll start coming out.
Okay.
I got really excited there for a second because I had a phone call. I'm like, "Oh, is it a job? Is it a workplace?" It was just it was just a scam call trying to get my social security number.
Oh my gosh, I get so many of those. Yeah.
Who do you trust more immigration? Democrats have a 10+ lead. I want to check the demographics of that survey to make sure it's not complete BS.
Yep. Well, I have an inkling that they're very lopsided for the Democrats, I would guess.
I mean, how many people do you know would speak to CNN?
So to win Ohio, Trump only needs 52% of the election day vote, which, to be honest, I think that's a guarantee at this point.
Yeah.
Win at least 50.
Yeah.
You know what you need? Texas 49. If you want to win, let's see, Wisconsin, he needs 61. So Trump gets 60% of the election day vote. He wins Pennsylvania, Florida, Ohio, Texas. Basically wins North Carolina, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, and Georgia.
Yeah, I know everybody has their own metrics, but once if Trump wins Pennsylvania, I would call it for him. I mean, before the mail-in ballot nonsense comes.
Well,
but...
I mean, he's already winning in Florida. It's a fairly safe bet that he'll win that.
Yeah,
if he
him
does
winning
win
Florida.
Pennsylvania, if he wins both, he's definitely winning.
Yeah, because I don't.
Pretty good indicator.
Yeah, well, I think Pennsylvania is because I don't know if you guys watched the Young Turks election stream back in 2016, but I did, and they had to call it for Trump. Once he took Pennsylvania, they're like, "Well, it's over." Like,
Yep.
Cenk, he was so pissed. It was hilarious, dude. I laughed for hours. Yes. Like,
Now,
yeah. Like, I forgot, and then there was that meme that came out afterwards, like Brown Buffalo BTFO'd. I was like, yeah.
Those are the days.
Yeah, those were the days, man.
So apparently, they predicted that by 12:20 p.m., the Republicans would be down in Florida by about 25,000 votes. In 12:20, they were up by 99,000.
Yeah. So where are you looking at this data from?
I'll post the model. I'll
Okay.
post the information in general.
All right. But because what I'm kind of wondering, how is the non-presidential elections going? Like, are the Republicans in the lead there?
Distinguish it at the moment.
Okay.
There is 10 million. There's 10 million votes have been cast in Florida, and the Republicans have 120,000 vote lead.
Wow. Okay. That's good so far.
And if you look at the independent split, it's roughly 50-50. 49.29 Republican, 50.71 Democrat. So I think Florida is in the bag. So,
it's fairly safe to call at this point that Trump will probably win Florida.
Yeah, so Trump has nearly 4 million votes, 3.9 million. Biden, we can't tell. This is Republican, Democrat, unaffiliated, not Trump versus Biden. But Florida isn't like Arizona or Utah. Trump's approval among the Republican Party in Florida is like in the mid-90s. So don't expect there to be too many legacy Republicans who flip to Biden. And I expect the opposite. There are a lot of legacy Democrats in Florida who are going to vote for Trump.
Because I'm kind of curious, like, how close did you guys follow the polls during the 2016 election?
Not that closely.
Okay, well, I'll tell you this: like, Trump won it by like a hair, because he won Pennsylvania by less than 50,000 votes, if I'm remembering correctly. Like, Amish for Trump. I think the Amish basically voting for Trump won him Pennsylvania. And I'm serious about that. Like, if you look at the data back then, like, he won by very small margins in Pennsylvania in 2016. So I'm really glad to hear it sounds like he has a much bigger lead in Pennsylvania than he did in 2016.
Trump's campaign actually released some information. They expect Biden to win the early votes by 750,000 votes. And that's expected because only like 10 to 20% of Republicans are voting by mail in Pennsylvania. And there's no other way to vote early. So Biden will win that by 750,000 votes. But they expect on Election Day, the Election Day results will be 1.5 million votes for Biden and 2.6 billion votes for Trump. So if you do the math, that's roughly about a 1.1 million gap. So that means Trump would win Pennsylvania by 350,000 votes, according to Trump's estimates for their campaign.
But do we have any solid numbers for the mail-in ballots yet? Because again, that's like my biggest worry.
Well, the different states count them differently. Like Michigan is just counting them today. Other states have been counting them since they got them.
Yeah,
There's also different states have different dates to which the mail-in ballots have to be in by. So a lot of states, they have to be in by when polls close tonight.
Some states let you go and vote in person, and that overrides your mail-in ballot. I don't know how that even works. I think there's like a 0% chance that you wouldn't be counted twice.
I mean, I don't know how mail-in voting works either, because I went in person. Like, I voted early, but I went in person. I didn't do absentee or whatever.
I'm looking at your state, Texas, right now. Republicans in early and absentee voting are up 12.
Really?
They're up 12
okay.
in early and absentee voting. I looked at polls, and more Republicans plan to vote in person than Dems. So this is true. Trump could win Texas by like 14, 15 points.
I mean, that's what I expected, dude. I don't think it's funny to me when you guys talk about it going blue, because I'm just telling you, as somebody who's lived down here and lived around Hispanics my whole life, they vote more Republican as they're here longer. At least in Texas. I don't know if it's the same probably not the same in New York or whatever, but down in Texas, like, it's like first generation's blue and they get more red as the generations go down.
Anecdotal thing is
it's not anecdotal though. But
no. I'm not calling you anecdotal. I was about to tell a story.
Sorry.
I'll tell the story and then I'll get into like actual data. Over a summer met this one guy. He was this Mexican dude from El Paso, and he was like the most unashamedly like Trump supporting person I've ever met. Dude was like, yeah, I fucking love Trump. My whole family loves Trump. I don't like homosexuals. They suck. I was like, this guy.
It's not uncommon to see Hispanics who are really socially conservative. A lot of people pro-Trump.
That's a contradiction. You hate Trump, so he likes Trump, but he hates homosexuals?
Well, yeah.
No.
What's funny? All like conservative Trump voters tend to forget that he supports gay marriage. Like yesterday, I was in an argument with people. Well, I wasn't the only one there, but one guy was saying like, there is no issue that a Catholic can vote for that is equal in a weight to abortion. So you can't like vote. And then someone else was arguing that voting for a guy who is pro same-sex marriage is just as bad. And I brought up the fact that Trump is pro same-sex marriage, and that just shut them up.
Yeah. What
Here's the thing.
I guess what I would say is that to me, like as a Catholic in America, you got to understand that from a Catholic perspective, we're like living in the evil empire right now. So I don't really think that I think your politics should be influenced by your religion, but it can't be the main issue in politics because American politics is always going to be dirty.
Okay,
Yeah, you
so I
can't
just
be-
want to. So someone sent me a presidential model from Polling USA. Let me see how many people follow this. Okay, 28,000. So he's predicting that Biden is going to get 413 electoral votes, including Ohio, Iowa, North and South
Texas,
Carolina, Georgia, Texas,
Florida,
and that Biden will win by 11% of the vote.
Well, we'll see what happens.
They predict in the House it'll be the same for the popular vote, and that the Democrats will gain 18 a net gain of 18 House seats. So they'll get 253 House seats, and the Republicans will get 182.
And I'm sorry, Argent, where did you source this data again? Like, where's this prediction?
It's on screen. It's also in the general chat.
Oh, sorry, I'm on my phone right now, so I'm not looking at any screen.
It's in someone's Twitter.
Okay.
Wow.
But I don't know. Like, to be honest with you guys, after 2016, I have a really hard time taking polls seriously. I'm not saying they're nothing, but I have trouble taking them seriously.
Well, within 2016, the national polls were within the margin of error.
That's true. So, yeah.
The thing is, they're not even taking it seriously. Biden is, if this pollster or this group was correct, then they would recognize that Trump is ahead in places like Iowa, Ohio, Texas, and Georgia, and they wouldn't give it to Biden. Not only that, but no pollster has like Biden anywhere close in Louisiana, which they have as a likely Republican. And not only that, but also they predict Pennsylvania is going to be like likely a Democrat, but Biden's only leading by 1 point in the aggregate.
Yeah, like, do you know? It's kind of funny. You know why Louisiana is so red? Because it's not because of the white people living there. I'll tell you that. As somebody who's been to Louisiana, yeah, there's a lot of Baptist blacks in Louisiana that vote Republican for real. There are.
I can't believe. I think if you were to say blacks because of racial animosity will cause people to vote Republican, then sure. But I that's one take I have to disagree with you on.
Well, I mean, it's like, I'm not saying I got hard data for it, but I'm just telling you they're there. Like, I don't know how many numbers they are.
Louisianian blacks are still like very influenced by Creole culture.
Yep, that's true as well. Based, yes, Creole is based.
So speaking
Actually,
of,
the Democratic governor of Louisiana is pretty based. He actually signed a bill that banned most abortions in the state.
And then it got overturned.
Yeah,
by the Supreme Court.
I wonder who the real enemy is.
Yeah, but to loop back around to what I was talking about with like third generation Hispanics, is they're, I mean, in polling, like, consistently, and even if we think the polls are largely wrong, in polling, Trump is doing much better this year than he has, or any Republicans have in past years with Hispanic voters. Still doesn't have the majority of close or anything close to it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
He is gaining by like 8 points, which is significant.
You just reminded me of something with your story. I actually have a friend who's I don't even know how many generations you would say Mexican. Like, he's Mexican, but his like great grandfather fought in the Texas Revolution against Santa Anna, and so his family's been in Texas like longer than my family has. You know, like, if anything, he's almost like Texas nobility, and I'm kind of more of a peasant in comparison because of how long
at the Alamo.
Yeah, he was. Well, actually, it was funny. He told me that his you know, how like his ancestor during that time was going to be stationed to the Alamo, but they decided to take him with. But then he ended up going into Sam Houston's brigade, and you know, and if he went to the Alamo, then like his whole line would be gone. You know,
that's
they
crazy.
all come from him. It is crazy, yeah. And also this guy, and also this is also the kind of Mexican guy which, if you said he wasn't white, he'd probably slap you in the face. Like,
is that it? Okay, I'll take the risk.
Yeah, But that's another thing that I feel like a lot of alt-right and white nationalist people don't understand is that a lot of Hispanic people consider themselves white, like as white as you or me, you know?
The ones that have been around the longest, yeah.
Percent of Hispanics self-identify as white. To be honest, we call this thing castizo futurism, basically.
Oh, are you talking about what Matt Forney was talking about a couple weeks back about the castizo dictator of America?
Deoism.
Yep.
So that prediction that I posted in general is delusional, but I found something that's probably even worse.
Really?
Some person DM'd me this and said, "I bet like $100 that this will be the actual results."
Really? What does it say?
That person broke the law.
Look at this fucking map.
Dude.
Look at
Dude.
Come on.
Anyone who says Texas is going blue, you can't take seriously. But this is even worse than the other ones. Alaska is going blue.
Alaska.
Yeah.
Did you
Do
put
they
this in the
have-
general chat?
Utah be
There we go. It's up on screen. Okay, so I'm just going to describe it. So they have Florida as likely Dem. Montana is Montana is leaning Dem. Kansas is leaning Dem. I think, or it's a toss-up. Yeah, no, I think it's.
tilt down. Really like blue.
Or no, it's a toss-up. Maybe I think he just fucked up because the math doesn't add up.
Yeah.
We actually believe Alaska, Montana, Kansas, and South Carolina were going blue.
Yeah.
So I can't tell if they're toss-up or blue because I think he fucked up when he was making this.
Yeah, I'm curious. Is this, like, I'm curious. Is this map from a bread tuber? I gotta ask.
Click on the link and you'll see that it's.
Oh, is it in the general? Is it in the general chat? Okay.
It was made by some dude from It was made by some dude in another server from the United Kingdom who said I was delusional if I thought Trump would win. I don't know why.
Firstly, Anglo says that.
Oh yeah, the eternal Anglo, right, guys?
Yeah. Argent.
West Virginia.
Oh yeah, well this guy basically thinks that the Democrats are going to sweep everything. Yeah, good luck.
Wait, he has West Virginia as leaning Republican.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
West Virginia is the most red state in the union.
Dude, this is honestly just this is honestly probably just cope and gaslighting at the same time.
Is this bait? I feel like this is bait.
Yeah. It could be bait. It could be. I'm not sure.
If West Virginia's leaning, then why would Indiana be solid? That's what I don't get.
Yeah,
that's why I think it's
likely.
It's either bait or completely incoherent.
Yeah, like honestly,
that gives like a boomer Republican or like a delusional boomer MAGA Pete's prediction.
I don't think it's like weird to think because obviously thinking Biden's going to win isn't like a weird or dumb opinion, but thinking he's going to win by like some absurd amount of votes.
Man, like how crazy are these people gonna get that are posting this shit if Trump wins? Like this is honestly kind of alarming to me.
They literally said to me, I betted $500 that that Biden. Not only that, they call him delusional.
That is scary, man. They sound like this person sounds insane that you're talking about. They sound crazy. I'm not even kidding. Like that is.
They were like British and Israeli neoliberals.
Oh.
Oh, of course.
Okay, bait. It's bait. Yeah.
I just have Fox and Russia Today on in the background. I'm just seeing if there's any breaking news.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's a crazy opinion to think Biden's going to win. Like it's entirely possible that he ekes out.
No,
a
but not by these numbers. These numbers are like Democrats are going to sweep everything. I would be shocked if that happened. Like this would be like shocking to me. Like I wouldn't like it's not going to be shocking to me if Biden wins. Like he could, especially with that again, like that mail-in voting stuff. He totally could win, but it's not going to be by these margins. This is like a landslide almost. There's no way.
I haven't seen any like actual indication. I guess you could say the polls say he's going to win in a landslide. But I haven't seen like any other evidence aside from that.
Dude, do you guys see that meme that Vex posted in the chat?
Let me see.
Hold on. Yeah.
Now this image right here is what some delusional MAGA peeps.
I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
This is what he predicted the result would be.
What? They put California as red?
Dude, that's retarded.
No,
This is
And
more
you know why?
retarded.
You know why they said that? I live in a county in I live in California, and all I see are Trump flags.
I'm
You know
sure
what
it's
I
like
mean?
inland California or
County
something.
is like
Yeah.
In Northern California.
And this is more retarded than the other map.
yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
somehow it is.
I've been
Yeah,
seeing
this
this like meme that Trump's gonna win New York.
He can't win New York.
Not in a million years.
No,
He did win Suffolk County, New York, which is like, you
that's
know,
one county though.
Okay,
that's
no,
not New
Suffolk
York.
is one of the big counties in Long Island. It has 1 million people. It's the largest county in New York City.
He won all of upstate New York, right?
Yeah, dude, you have to.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. He has to win New York City. He doesn't have to win New York to win New York. He has to win New York City, and that's never going to happen. Not as a Republican, anyway.
Well, he'll
I
probably
don't believe
win
it.
Staten Island because it's entirely Italian. But other than that,
Oh, actually, check. This is interesting. I'm gonna post his results in general. He did a lot better than Romney did.
By how much though? By what are the margins?
Okay,
here?
so Obama won New York by 28.
Okay.
Hillary won New York by like 24. I mean 23.
Oh, he did.
Okay.
So, and look at the difference in like the southern part of it.
Yeah, but that's still like a double point lead though, and Clinton
Okay,
was
so
horrible. I mean, Biden-
literally like a ton of like 20 counties split from Democrat to Republican, including Suffolk
Yeah.
County, a predominantly suburban county that hasn't gone red since, let me check, demographics, law and politics.
if you want to know something really
so
weird,
It's been red since 1992, and Trump won it by like 6 points. It has 1.5 million people, and it's on Long Island.
I mean, I get what you're saying, and I do but I think that this is a trend that you're going to see over like the next 10 years, not this election.
No, I don't think
What I'm
Trump is going to
yeah.
win New York. I think he'll lose it by 20 points. But like,
Yeah.
I'm
But the
saying
trend
his
is good. The
marriage
trend is good,
did
though.
surprisingly well for.
Mhm.
I guess
Well-
partially because he's from New York. I think that's what helped him.
Yeah, New Yorkers, and
Might
I'm
be
sure,
the appeal.
and it looks like working class guys in New York. It seems like a lot of them really like Trump, even if they don't like his politics. Like that's the vibe I get from
Mhm.
like working class.
It's like
New York.
how it's like how McMullen got 200,000 votes in Utah last election because that's his
yeah.
own state.
Deep State McMuffin. Yeah.
I love that deep state.
What I really hate how the politics of Illinois are distributed. So, Argent, click on this or just check out this map in general. It's kind of ridiculous.
Let me guess. Chicago is
Look
blue,
at-
deep
look
blue.
at the
Everything
map.
else is. Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's
every
gonna be
county except
Chicago.
Oh
County.
my god!
Wait. So you're saying it's like a dartboard, like
red.
it's like a blue. Yeah. But that's what I mean. It's just like one blue spot in the middle, and it's all red around it.
yeah,
And yet-
You
It's
gotta,
red.
you gotta
That's
show
insane.
the on stream.
Only wins by 4%, yet he wins every
Oh
fucking.
no, I didn't put
He is literally like 50% of the population in Chicago's in Cook County.
I swear I saw the other day a county referendum in some southern Illinois county that proposed just breaking away from Illinois, just splitting the state in two, letting Cook County be its own thing.
Yeah. I'm kind
The
of
free city
thinking.
of Chicago.
Yeah.
I think you can do that without the consent of the Illinois government. I wonder how you do it.
Yeah.
Basically,
Nothing
you can't make new states without Congress. But what you can do is have certain counties pledge to allocate taxpayer funds to another state, effectively making that state join another state that already exists. Did you know that?
Yeah. Did you guys know that Texas can legally, by its own constitution, split into 5 different states
What?
if it wanted to? Yep.
No
Yeah,
way.
I think it's kind of filling up. Go by, guys.
Now check out this other thing. This is pretty interesting. The whole 2A sanctuary movement. It's unironically like nullifying gun laws, and it's all over Illinois, all over Virginia.
Wait, nullifying? Like you mean nullifying like gun laws, like
They're
the bad
basically
ones,
saying
like
the
the ones we
police
don't
and
want?
local government will not enforce gun laws.
Oh, there we go.
Nice.
I mean, they're unconstitutional, so they should go. I hope that goes to the Supreme Court at some point. Like, people, I don't know, it's weird. The Democrats keep talking about Roe v. Wade and stuff, and I'm like, nah, I want them to knock out all these state gun control laws. That's what I want from the Supreme Court.
All over Virginia and Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. And California,
Random.
and New York, everywhere.
California's 2 counties up north.
My fucking Republican governor is such a fucking rhino. He signed in a magazine law, so you can't have
governor.
Bruh.
Vermont,
right?
Vermont.
Bill Scott.
Vermont.
You can't have handgun magazines over 15 rounds, and you can't have rifle magazines over 10 rounds.
Wait,
I
so
know
you
you're
can't
the
have
of Bernie Sanders, so it's not a surprise that even
You would think I have cousins in other states who can mail me stuff like that.
You think? Yeah. Apparently, almost every county in New York Trump actually lost several counties in upstate New York that were like Erie, Albany, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But in New York passed a gun registry known as the SAFE Act. Basically, 96% of gun owners.
Strightness, I'm gonna have to mute you because there's like bad background noise.
Now, this is the image down on the post in general. If you look, oh wait, it's not showing. I guess I'll have to copy it.
Shows for me.
Okay, so if you look at this image, it literally like everywhere except Albany and Tompkins goes red. So Erie, Rochester, Erie, all that area went red. And all these counties that are green, the county police said, "Fuck you, we are not going to enforce this."
What's the SAFE Act again? I'm sorry.
Basically, it's a gun registry that passed in New York like 7 years ago. Nobody thought of it.
What's so hard to get about shall not be infringed?
In Virginia, several counties in Virginia formed county taxpayer-funded militias.
Hey guys, I got a question for all of you. When you're ready, do you think that Trump will finally take these bad mayors and governors to task that, in some of these states, I would say Bill de Blasio in New York is the one that comes to mind, are just being wiping their ass with the Constitution? Do you think he's actually going to do anything about it, or it's not going to happen? It's not going to happen.
Because he would need the support of the courts to do that.
But he probably will. He has 3 appointees in there that are his.
Yeah, but I don't think they're gonna start getting rid of mayors and governors and all that. They're gonna whine about.
I don't mean getting rid of them. I mean just putting it under control. Like, a lot of these cities are in chaos right now because of these mayors.
If he wins, he shouldn't do it.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Not right away. Not right away. He wouldn't do it right away. If he loses, he's out of office in January. He should do it right.
What are you talking about? If he loses, it's gonna be Trump 2024. You watch.
Maybe. He did say that if he does lose, shit.
He's
very elderly. Can I give a shout out to my dad right now? He's watching the stream. Hello.
All right. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Trump would be old as fuck if he.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Hold on. Let him shout out his dad.
Okay. Shouts out to my father. I think he's under the username of Puffwagon right now. So there we go. Cheers.
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 No, but if Trump becomes he gets sworn in, I guess he'd be the same age as Biden. If he. So
yeah, Trump's. Trump's pretty.
I just don't want an 80-year-old getting.
Yeah. It is true that we do need to get some younger folks into the White House for sure.
You can't be older than a certain.
There needs to be a max age. I don't know if 75 or 74.
I think 80.
The other issue is Trump is just too old to save America.
Honestly, I was gonna tell you, Arjun, it's such a shame that Trudeau is such a faggot because he's actually the perfect age to be president.
We're on stream. Don't say stuff that can get us banned.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. My bad. Yeah.
Citizenship.
My bad. Sorry, I forgot that YouTube is that word now.
Yes.
Gamer words.
Yeah, the gamer words. Yeah, sorry. In Minecraft.
Rhymes with hay.
Say.
No Fed
can't
post.
say certain words. You have censorship.
All right. Well, sorry. It was an accident. Sorry.
It's a
Forgot.
feeling.
Yeah, but it's a shame because Trudeau is the perfect age to lead a country. It's just a shame he's not doing it.
Yeah, imagine Trump
Justin
and Trudeau.
Trudeau.
No. Trump.
Yeah.
Trump and Trudeau's body would be perfect.
Oh yeah. What are you talking about? That would be.
No.
Oh man, I can't imagine like Trump being president when he in like his 40s. That would be incredible if that was the case.
No, back in the day, he would have won easy.
Oh yeah.
Trump's biggest accomplishment
What?
is probably that he got fairly young justices onto the Supreme Court.
I know.
Like,
yeah.
he did.
Like
Bruh.
I
Amy's
do
only
like
in her
Amy.
40s.
Like I do like what's her name? The Amy Barrett or whatever. She's only like
Yeah.
49.
Yeah.
She's younger than my mom.
Dude, I think as long as history stays in our favor, I think Trump will be remembered as a great president. I unironically believe that.
Well, I mean, it's
Like
a question
I said,
of what
imagine-
happens
He'd be a
after,
mediocre
in like
president.
10 years.
Imagine 6 scoops. Imagine 3 more for.
No, dude, what I always think about, imagine being a kid in school 20 years from now, and in the history books they're trying to explain why Trump was talking about how big his hands were. That would be oh man.
So kids.
I actually have massive hands.
Did you know? No, I wouldn't be surprised with them teaching kids how to do things. Certain things. They're gonna be like, "Hey, kid, you can put your hand." Things.
No, I don't mean like that. I don't mean a perverted way. I mean like reading the history book and they ask the teacher, ma'am, why did the president in 2020 talk about how big his hands were? I just mean like that.
Yeah.
Didn't that all get started back in 2015 because of something Rubio said?
Yes,
Oh
it was.
yeah, he called him like Little Marco or something.
Yeah.
It's like, I haven't heard of him.
Yeah, and dude, he just has so. That's what I love about Trump. He's so he's not like super intellectual or anything, but he's very quotable. Like Little Marco, Pocahontas. It's like he gets those zingers, man.
Here's the thing. I don't really like Trump. I just prefer him over Biden. Like no contest to Trump any day. But I'm not a Trump dude. I'm just like.
I mean, I'm in the same position.
Biden.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm in. He's not like super intellectual or anything, but he's very quotable. Yeah, I would say that I'm a very anti-democratic individual, so I kind of don't even agree with voting, even though I vote.
Democratic. Well, what do you think? Democracy, by definition, a pure democracy doesn't really work because if everyone votes for stupid shit, it doesn't make
No.
sense.
I mean, if you look at the Greeks, yeah. I mean, if you look at the Greeks, like when they had their quote-unquote pure democracy, it was basically just all the nobles, like the plutocrats. Like it wasn't like the peasant farmers like voting.
I hate people going like, "This is true democracy." If it was a
yeah, you're kind of breaking up a little bit, man.
Just to clarify, just for the people watching, so this is the thing from. This is just going to be for today. We're doing this because there's not really much news. I'm not sure how long this stream will go for. At some point, I'll probably end this, and then we'll be doing an election night stream, and that'll probably just be me. I don't know how much Serp is going to be on because he is just kind of depressed about the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
Does he still think Biden's going to win?
I don't know, but it's just going to be me and whatever guests want to come on. Like,
you can't get
Are you
Fritz
going
on?
to get?
No, I know. I mean, Fritz might be on. Charlemagne might come on.
Dude.
Didn't you say classical theist might be on?
No, he's busy. I asked him, and he said
okay.
he'd be on, but he's doing something.
Dude, that tweet from him that you put in the general chat yesterday was so based. That was awesome. That tweet that you showed from him. Do you remember?
He's usually pretty on point.
Classical theist is one of the nicest people, unironically, I've ever met. He's a very sweet guy.
Have you seen Arjun? Have you seen his debate with Jay Dyer, classical theist versus Jay Dyer?
Oh, that actually happened? Oh, I haven't
Yeah,
seen
it's a
that,
very
actually.
interesting.
And it was hilarious.
It's a very interesting debate. I don't know, because I do like Jay Dyer quite a bit, but I feel like he's so highfalutin. Like, he's so up at his own ass with the scholarly shit. Like, to me, I think Einstein was right. I feel like if you can't explain something simply, then you don't understand it. Like, I truly do believe that you don't
I
understand
think
it well
Pol
enough.
Pot was right.
What did Pol
Pol
Pot?
Pot's unironically the only communist ever, except for, I think that fucking
Glasses are
Romania.
reactionary. We have to get rid of all the intellectuals.
It
Bury
wasn't
them
the-
alive.
So,
Oh,
Hold
yeah.
up.
you guys,
Hold up.
so I assume you guys have your own preparations in case civil unrest happens, like food, water, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Strap
I
all
got
strapped up.
actually you're probably gonna think I'm nuts when I say this, but I have unironically 100 gallons of drinking water in my place.
Okay.
Oh, you're good. You're fine.
Guys,
Yeah, you
guys,
keep it
I
right.
doubt that it would get us in trouble, but maybe just don't
Let's
talk
go-
about your gun
yeah.
and ammo supply.
No.
Oh yeah, no. I'm just talking about food.
No, and
I'm
just
not gonna talk
anything
about
you
other
plan
food.
to do it.
All I'll leave it at,
I ain't
guys,
asking
is
what
that
you're planning
I'm
to do.
very
I'm
well
just wondering if y'all
I'm
prepared. Self-defense reasons.
I'm prepared.
I got so many cans of pork and beans as SpaghettiOs that it's not even funny.
Yeah, just
Okay,
keep in
let's
mind
move
for
on.
like this and the slurs and stuff. Like I
Yeah,
personally
let's move
don't
on to a
care. I
new
just don't
topic.
want my channel to get.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah,
we
that's
understand.
fine.
YouTube's gonna be
Nah,
going
YouTube
hard. Yeah.
will just.
Oh yeah.
assassinate-
Well, I'm actually surprised that my Facebook
How's-
hasn't gotten sucked yet.
Yeah.
No, but one thing y'all was on earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot exactly how I was gonna bring this up, but people looking over all the small states, a lot of them are going quick, and right now they're small, right? This election and election probably not, but eventually states like Idaho and shit, it's growing quick. It might be important, so it might be good while it's still
Hey,
to make
bro,
that.
Yeah,
to
you're
make
starting
that-
to break up again. By the way, you're breaking up a little bit. Just wanted to mention.
Like, do I have to leave the call and join back every 5 minutes?
I don't know. What is your?
I don't know.
What is your?
I just think
bars
your mic's
or
not
whatever?
very good.
It
That's
could be.
Be the
It
mic.
really isn't. It really
If
is.
you have headphones on your phone, you can try that.
That is the mic, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, I'm
got-
using my
But you can
phone
still
and it's-
understand me though, right?
Yeah, it's just that like you'll be going and I can hear you, and then you cut out, and then it sounds like it skips like 4 or 5 words. You know. It's
Maybe
about-
I don't move around. Wait, right now you can hear me clearly though.
Yes, I can hear you clearly now. Yes.
I'll just say this. So, like I said, a lot of small states, like for example, Idaho, just an example, growing quick. It's a small state now. It won't matter this election, definitely, but it's growing, and it's since it's small, it might be easier to make it stay hard loyalty because right now it's loyal, but as it grows, it's likely to also go more blue, and eventually it might be a big blue state instead of the small red state now. So yeah, I'm just saying, don't overlook the small red states, because eventually they could become big blue states. Invest in it, make sure
well,
it
yeah,
stays
but-
red, right? Even when
Yeah,
it gets
I mean,
big.
it would be nice if they stayed red, but really the ones to watch out for are Pennsylvania and the rest of the Rust Belt states. Like
Oh no,
those are gonna be the winners.
Pennsylvania is gonna stay at this size for a while. I mean, it's not really growing. It's stagnant.
I
mean,
think this. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh no, actually, I was gonna. Well, if we're still talking about election stuff, I was gonna lighten the mood a little bit with something a little bit off topic, but recent holidays, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
What Burgess? Oh wait, never mind. That's Germany. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask who had fun their Halloween weekend. I did.
Oh, I did. I played.
No,
I played a
lockdowns
shit
was
ton
like
of Doom 3 and Silent Hill 2. So
I did a Vincent Price-a-thon, so I watched The Mask of the Red Death, Leave Her
Yeah.
to Heaven, The Pit and the Pendulum, and then I know it's not a horror movie, but I also watched The Count of Monte Cristo from 2002.
Oh, that's a good one.
I give
That's
that
a good
movie
one.
like 10 out of 10. I just
Yeah.
like the idea that he inherits billions of dollars and he uses it to just troll people.
Yeah, but I'm trying to remember. They
Speaking of
changed
Vincent
it.
Price.
I'm trying to remember. They changed it from the book though, right? Because he gets back with his ex-wife. Or
Yeah.
whatever in the movie.
Also,
I
you
don't
know
like
what?
that.
Henry Cavill's in that movie.
What?
Yeah, I noticed that.
He's the Count's son that he had with his like fiance. And
Yeah.
I mean, if Henry Cavill's your son, that just makes you a Giga Chad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Henry
Yeah.
Cavill is literally Gamers Rise Up, but as a celebrity. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Gamers Rise Up.
I just
Um,
think
Oh yeah.
anything Hollywood
Speaking of Vincent
is
Price, Sergeant, did you watch Last Man on Earth by any chance?
no, I need to. I read the book.
Oh yeah, I'm
Seen
Legend.
clips of it.
Oh yeah, actually,
If
Arjun,
anybody's curious, I do
gotta-
have a review of the book up on my channel.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Cool.
I'll check it out.
Richard
Arjun,
Matheson.
Arjun, I got a book that you need to read. I think you'll love this book. Okay, so it's called "Serpent in the Valley" by P.C. Doherty. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
Okay, get this. He's a British Catholic, and this book, "Serpent of the Lilies," the viewpoint character in it, like it's kind of written in like a diary style, and it's an English spy in France spying on Joan of Arc, and it's by a British Catholic. It's really cool. Yes, it's really good.
Yeah,
You should
link
check
it.
out.
Okay, so
Send
I
it.
just wanted to give an update. Okay, so I'm looking at when polls close. So at 7 p.m., polls will close in Georgia, Indiana, Kentucky, South Carolina, Vermont, and Virginia. None of those are interesting states. I don't.
No, not really.
Oh no,
It's
no Georgia.
6 p.m. It's 6 p.m. for Indiana and Kentucky.
Some people actually
Eastern time. I don't know what time zone everybody else is on.
I'm on Central.
So just an
Yeah.
hour behind, yeah.
I'm Eastern +6.
At 7:30, we get Ohio, North Carolina, and West Virginia. And
North Carolina is an important one,
and
although that's probably going
I
to go
don't think
Trump.
Ohio is a swing state, but it's close.
Ohio's
Fairly
going
red.
red. This.
Yeah.
Ohio's going red. I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing. I think Biden can win, but I think the only way Biden can win is through some bullshit. Like, he can't win fairly. He has to do some... I mean,
Well,
what
it's
the
the
fuck are they
mailing.
doing with this
Yeah.
counting the ballots like 30 days, 50 weeks after the election?
They're
I don't
gonna
think
go
they
as
even need to have
slow-
it until like December. They don't need to have decisive numbers.
POV,
Here's the
you're
thing,
being
here's the
dragged
thing.
to Ohio.
I think I'll tell you this. I think the Democrats are gonna make counting the mail-in ballots as slow and painful as possible. That's
Definitely
what I think.
are.
Yeah.
They're just
They-
trying
they're
to drag
doing
it
this
out as
white-
long
but
as they
wait,
can so
wait.
they can cast
No.
doubt on the legitimacy of Trump's reelection.
Yeah, no, I got one theory as well as to why they're trying to make all these polls. It's not just to keep, get clicks. It might be because you know how all of them are paid and shit, like all these fucking analysts or whatever, CNN bullshit, fake
Yeah.
reporters are basically in bed with Democrats, right?
Yeah.
Like fucking the two Cuomos, right?
Oh gosh,
Uh,
yeah. Like what was it? Michael and Fredo? Michael and Fredo?
There you go.
Fredo. Yeah, Fredo.
I think Trump's going to end up. I think Trump's
No,
going to end
but
up.
like,
winning.
but like I said, maybe one of the reasons also for them to make those polls say, "Oh, Trump can't," is so that if they pull some bullshit, they cheat, right? They're like, "Hey, we said Trump can't win." And, hey, it's just like, why do you think they're making? Oh, Trump's gonna win this state. You're like, Trump's gonna win fucking Alabama. Or
Yeah, well,
I mean, Biden's gonna win Alabama.
Well, I'll just tell you this. I just read an article where Biden stated that there is no scenario where Trump is going to win. So that should tell you everything.
Yeah, that's
So,
that's
how much
probably
cocaine
being
is he on, and where can I get this shit?
I mean, ask Hunter. Where's Hunter?
Well, dude, he's not on any coke. Like his
I don't
brain
know what
is
they
literally.
injected him with before
Yeah.
the debates.
Yeah, his.
Bruh,
no,
did you see
his-
the fucking wire he had on in the first
Unnaturally
debate?
lucid.
Yeah. Did you see the
Drugs
wire
are
he had on
bad,
in the
okay,
first debate?
kids?
Yeah, no, he's but no,
Did-
Biden's
wire on
brain
him,
is
though?
literally dying in his skull. That's what's happening.
No, but did you
Yeah,
see the
that's
wire?
what happens when you do so much cocaine. I mean, look at some of these bands from 20, 30 years ago.
Hell of a
Right
drug.
now. I mean,
No, but did you see the wire that Biden had in the first debate?
shit, why do you think
Fucking
Ozzy Osbourne
wire.
is the way he is now in the last 5-10 years?
Yeah, dude,
I'm
Ozzy
so glad I
Osbourne-
got to see him back in 2013 with Black Sabbath in concert. Oh, that was great.
That sounded
Dude,
awesome.
Did you hear?
Remember
the
when
story about
bands
Ozzy
didn't just kill
Osbourne?
themselves?
Yeah. Did you ever hear the story about Ozzy Osbourne and the geneticists? Did you ever hear about this?
No, just tell me more.
Okay, listen to this. Okay, so a geneticist was reading. Okay, somebody's making a lot of noise.
Oh, that was me. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but anyway, so this geneticist was reading Ozzy Osbourne's autobiography, and he was describing his drug abuse, like how much heroin he was doing, and he looked at that and he was like, how the heck is he alive? I need to examine this guy's genes. And so they did, and his genes are like stored in some geneticist lab right now being studied.
So we're going to see Ozzy Osbourne clones of super soldiers. That's going to be cool.
There you go.
It's going to be like the 21st century Khan Noonien Singh. If
Yeah,
gets that joke, then you're old.
And who knows what religion Ozzy Osbourne is affiliated with? Who here?
I think he identifies as an Anglican.
Nope.
Oh,
he does not. He's the Catholic. He's Catholic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yep. He's
Yeah,
been
he
Roman
is.
Catholic since he was born. Yep.
I'm pretty sure most of Black Sabbath actually is.
I would love that if that was true. I just know about it. I mean, Black Sabbath, it would kind of make sense, but I don't know.
Ronnie James Dio was Catholic.
Yep. And he's also a boss. Like, again, all those rockers in the 70s and the 80s, like, a lot of them are so based. Like, so much more based than you would think for how popular they are.
I mean, here's the thing. These days, when people they come out like, "Oh, I love Biden" and all this shit, or whoever's blue, and whoever's red just so happens to be Hitler, right?
Yeah.
It's not because they genuinely believe it. Like 50 Cent coming out for Trump. It's not because, and then he's like, "Oh, I was kidding. I'm actually for Biden." He probably deep down still wants Trump to win. He just didn't. It's not because he believes in it.
I don't know. We're not
I'm supporting. I'm supporting it because I don't want to get canceled. That's what it is. And back then it was more acceptable. Now
but we're not mind readers here, so it's pointless to speculate. You know.
Obviously, I'm just explaining why, or actually trying to explain why back then people might have been based. Because nowadays you come up, hey, I like Trump. Wait, you're Hitler? What? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
well, no, not rockers, dude. That's what I like about rockers. They don't give a crap. Like, have you ever heard of?
Well,
Wasp?
that's their whole brand. Their whole brand
they
is
still
like,
do
I
that
don't
today,
care.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, have you ever heard of Wasp though? The band Wasp.
No.
Okay, the lead guy in that band, he literally did a song in like 2008, basically calling Obama the Antichrist. Like he all but basically said that, and he had like a music video with like, you know, Obama saying and doing sketchy stuff. You know, so rockers don't give a damn, man. Like
they still like that today, though. Like even what do you think?
What
even
about Paul
2008 Democrats, no, even 2008 Democrats would have been considered alt-right.
I mean, I think some rockers are just liberal and some are conservative, and they'll definitely tell you about it either way.
Old
That's what I
school
think with
liberalism is modern alt-right bullshit. Let's be real. It's moved so far left. Anything right is Stalin.
I mean, I just think
it sounds like a talking.
I think you're just not thinking about this from a cultural perspective. I feel like rockers, nobody really cares what your politics are. Rappers, you know, it's vote or die. Like vote Democrat or die. Basically. That's a rapper.
Oh,
you know?
So guys,
rappers are fun.
So all the polls are closed by 11. Oh, sorry,
11
by
p.m.
10
10
p.m.
a.m.
is when the last one
10.
closes. So I don't know how late I'll go. We'll see. Because I was thinking of starting at 6:30, but I guess I could also start at like 7.
I wouldn't start. Yeah, 7. I was
I
gonna
think,
say I wouldn't start until 7. 'Cause
Okay.
that's
I would
when some
say-
of the actual polls
Yeah.
start closing.
Yeah, I would say 7 or 8. But that depends on how late you want to go. You know, it depends on how late you want the stream to go. Like, do you want it to go till midnight or at 11
Well,
p.m.?
I'm unemployed at the moment, so I can go as late as.
Yeah. Well, I'm right there with you, buddy. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's been it's a rough economy. I lost my job because of COVID, so.
Oh, so did I. I lost it
You
too.
can thank China for that, don't worry.
Oh, maybe just because we have people here. Just anyone in the chat, if you've lost your job, maybe just say, and if you've been having trouble getting another one, because I don't know, the economy I think is pretty bad at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, Argent, I got it. Press L if for laid off. If you got laid off, press L.
I mean, It's
Or
not
F
a
for five.
surprise. We're on the verge of like a 1929 level recession.
Has anyone else noticed though the media's been very like Pollyanna?
Quiet about it.
No, I
Yep.
mean they've been saying like the economy's doing great. There's no unemployment.
Well, yeah. So it's the opposite.
Yeah,
It's
set up when
lies.
Trump
Everything
wins,
they
they
talk
can blame
about.
it on
GDP
Trump
goes
that
up.
it went bad again.
Yeah.
Green line go up, and so everything's fine.
Because like the actual unemployment rate is not that high.
Yeah.
But I
Though
don't really
the-
believe it.
No, but
No,
I'll
like
tell
at
you,
one
like,
point, didn't they find out that the unemployment rate was barely above, even
Dude.
despite COVID, it was barely above what it was under Obama.
Yeah, but I don't know about you guys, but I think that there's like a smoky board. There's somewhere in America, there's a room full of guys in a boardroom smoking cigars, and they're planning how they're going to try to crash the stock market if Trump wins.
And they're shedding they're helping each other shed their scales.
Yeah,
They're also
exactly.
shedding each
Boy,
other's
what
stuff.
do you mean in their origin?
Shedding each other's
Okay, so we have a couple
thing.
people in the chat. It's hardly a representative sample, but like it's kind of sad because there's a like a diner down the street from where I live, and they make like they had like really good. I don't know if you want to call it like greasy spoon food. So like they would have like Black Angus burger and fries and a little salad for like $7 Canadian.
Ooh, that
And,
sounds good. Yeah.
And I was going there because my dad came down to see me, and I'm like, oh, why don't we go to this diner? And I got there, and they were literally taking the stove out into like a garbage truck.
Oh.
So it's closed. Like there's shuttered businesses all over the place.
Yeah, there's a lot of them down here in Texas too. Like we're doing better than most states, but still not great. Yeah.
Texas is not going blue this year, but it's gonna go blue with it.
No, it's not, dude. Because people
Probably
get more
won't.
right wing the longer they live here. I'm telling you, as somebody
My
Oh no, they're gonna let
understanding
illegal.
everywhere.
No,
Doesn't-
if Biden wins, illegals are gonna vote. We're never gonna.
Doesn't so sorry. What I've heard about Texas is the state government has very strong controls over the curriculum.
Yes.
It does, yeah.
Yes, it
And
does.
that's why. So I think Texas has one of the most rigid curriculums, and that's done by the conservative government to try to stop teachers from pausing the kids.
Yeah.
Who
Like I
keeps
think
joining and leaving?
Like I think
Yeah.
Huh?
Never mind, go on.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
go
We're
ahead.
just waiting for you to make your point.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that it's like what me and Fritz were talking about on his stream. Basically, if you had a country that was like Texas, Louisiana, maybe all the way up to Georgia and North Carolina or the Dakotas, and goes all the way to Arizona, I feel like that's a state that would be a country that all of you in this call would probably be happy living in. Like that's what.
Yep.
Well, I mean, talking about like making new countries out of the U.S. is kind of something.
It's a hypothetical. It's a
Yeah.
hypothetical.
I'm not
yeah.
making. I'm not saying make a
Hypothetical.
country to be.
Well,
but
yeah,
if
but
I
you
be
could do a lot of
country like that.
Yes.
But
I'm.
Serp and my friend Torellian, who's probably also going to be on, pointed out. Basically, liberal and white liberals and conservative liberals in America are their own ethnic groups at this point.
Basically,
Yeah.
And it's
I would agree.
It's kind of easier because if you're like, I don't know if you want to describe yourself as like pro-white or like an American nationalist or whatever, but when you see your people,
Yeah.
if you see like your people behave in a certain way and them like wanting refugees to come in and like rape their kids, you have to understand that they aren't your people. They're just kind of cattle. Like,
Well, no, I don't see it that way. What I would say is
I
that
think-
I'm
I think
I'm
anyone that
Catholic
votes
and a
Democrat
I'm
should be.
Catholic. I'm Catholic and a Southerner, and that's all I care about. That's what I would say, and a Texan, obviously. Those are the things I care about. Everything else is just mush. It's potatoes, not meat. That's what I would say. But yeah, you can go.
To be honest. Oh, sorry.
I say you can go ahead and make your point. That's all I
I say anyone voting Democrat, before they can make anyone else follow along with it, they should themselves be forced to go. more than anyone else. So, for example, if you vote for welfare, you should pay more tax to that welfare. If you want to defund the police, you yourself should be protected from the police. If you want to let in fucking illegals or whatever you
So
call them,
Arizona's going
not me.
Republican.
Yeah, somebody's
no,
typing
but,
really
but,
loud.
but like I said, if you want to vote for refugees or illegal immigrants, whatever the fuck you want to call them, just call them. I'm just going to call them terrorists. Not all of them are, but I mean, hey, fuck it. Just at this.
Yeah,
if you
just be
wanna
careful. Just be careful. You're edging on dangerous territory here. Be careful how you phrase these things.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm supporting terrorism. I'm just saying if you're like one of those that votes for that,
Yeah.
like you
But
should
just
be forced to let them into your house.
Yeah, but just remember we're on YouTube right now. That's all.
Yeah,
You're edging a little bit. That's all I'm saying.
Hey guys, want to hear a super specific plan on this public live stream?
No, but like I said, if you vote for
joking.
anything, I think if you vote for anything, you should be forced to own up to it more than anyone else and for it.
Well, we
I think
can't
that's
because we got the Fourth Amendment in this country, so we literally can't do that. Unless you just want to tear apart the whole Constitution, I guess.
I mean, hey, they want to tear apart the Constitution, so I mean,
I think that's a good idea.
One thing I hate about the modern
I think
right.
it's a bad idea.
Here's something. Wait, let me say. One thing I hate about the modern right. We care too much about playing nice. Oh, we gotta have morals though. It's like
not
they
about
don't have morals.
Okay,
It's not
guys,
about
I'm just
playing
gonna have to stop this because if this was with like people I knew better, that'd be fine. But I just for open calls, I prefer like.
Yeah, I get it. It's risky. Yeah, you can end it here if you're worried about it.
No, I'm not gonna end it. I just this particular.
Just
line
move on to a
of
different
conversation.
I'll move on to the next topic.
fair.
Okay. Next topic, please. All right.
So the betting markets now have Trump
leading in Arizona.
Yeah,
I put it there. Vincent James tweeted it out.
In what states is Trump leading?
In Florida,
Texas, right?
in
Florida, definitely, yeah.
Here's the thing. Usually, more Republicans are more likely to vote later on because they're still working.
Yeah. Is he still up in Pennsylvania right now?
I think so.
The thing is, we don't have like I don't think exit polls come out until the actual polls close. So I don't know if there's any way to know what's currently happening in any of the states.
Hey, okay. Like I would say, have no edge to this. But could somebody look up if there's any news from Washington D.C. yet? But no edge. You know
what does that mean?
I don't know. I don't want to.
Oh, there's 2020 riots.
If there's riots?
Yeah, no. If did you not hear about how Trump is barricading the White House?
Yeah, we can talk about that. That's fine. Just don't talk about like shooting people. Like that's so.
I haven't.
Oh, no, I wasn't talking about shooting.
Did someone talk about that?
No,
I'm
just saying like I'm saying fine if you want to.
It's fine to talk about it. It's not off limits.
Okay. But yeah, so yes, they put up like non-scalable walls, from my understanding, around the White House last night. But again, I haven't heard any other news from it, so I'm not sure if that's the case anymore.
Well, I
or if
think
it was.
They're anticipating something.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, did y'all hear about the? Did y'all hear about the
you
riot?
have to be an idiot to not expect it to happen.
Yeah,
Something to happen after the election.
I mean, gosh,
did y'all hear about the rioters for?
Yeah, how long has the riots been going on now? Like about
They've been going
months,
on
right?
since like June.
No, a different riot.
Yeah.
Did y'all? May.
Okay.
Yeah, after George Kirby. Remember?
Yeah.
All this George. No, but you heard about the riots for Trump?
I don't want to talk about that. I think that's a bad thing to talk about on here. But, but it's up to
There's some crazies, let's just say.
No, don't talk about
that. Don't. Yeah, that sounds like a bad topic. Something else.
Fair enough. Damn, YouTube really strangling.
Yeah, no, they're gonna be strangling.
They're gonna crack down even more after the election.
Yeah, honestly,
get ready.
Because keep in mind.
Did you see what Twitter did with the new? They finally let it go.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Dude, did you see? Did you see Ted Cruz obliterate?
He's like,
okay,
who
Ocean, I'm
like,
gonna
who
have to
the fuck
kick
elected
you if you don't like. fix your audio.
Yeah, there's some.
Me?
Yeah, somebody's. No, I don't know. Somebody's audio's
You
weird.
got feedback, or
Yeah.
we
No,
can
but he was
hear
like, "Who the
everything.
fuck elected you?" And then the left.
Yeah. But anyway, actually, did you guys see Ted Cruz like BTFO Jack Dorsey in that
Yeah,
Senate
he was like, "Who
hearing?
the fuck
Yeah, that was
elected
great.
you?"
Oh man, it was hilarious, dude. I
Yeah.
unironically love Ted Cruz. I know a lot of people don't, but he's my senator, and he's always represented me well as my senator. And I know, and you know,
I mean, Trump kind of wrecked him.
yeah,
back
he
when
did,
was
but I don't
still Trump.
care. I don't care. He deserved it, but you know, he's my senator. He's my
You
boy.
think
Like
he
you know,
changed
he's
since
my
then or
guy.
something?
You know, huh?
You think he changed or something?
Do I think he's what? You keep
You
cutting
think
out.
he's wait, can you hear me? You think he's changed since then or something?
I think he's changed a little bit. I think he's tried to be cooler, like you know, be more hip because of Trump.
He's
He
like-
got blown up by Trump. You know, 'cause he's growing like the
He's like,
southerner
"You
beard
can't
and
beat
shit
him,
now.
be him."
Yeah, exactly.
But
yeah, he like, and I'm just telling you, like that. Wow, somebody's typing really loud again. Anyway, like that, like when he BTFO'd Jack Dorsey, that is exactly why I voted for that man ever since I could vote. Just telling you. Yeah.
But then, everyone got pissed off that Lil Wayne. He's not even supporting.
I know Lil Wayne ain't black, 50 Cent ain't black. You know, a lot of guys ain't
If
black.
you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Hashtag stop Trump because he's racist.
Zen, maybe it's just your audio is really bad. So
Yeah. Wait, who are you talking about?
Zen Osama?
Oh,
His
Zen
mic
Osama.
keeps cutting out.
Yeah,
it
so
keeps
maybe
cutting out.
try coming back later or something. Just it's kind of hard to understand.
How long is the stream gonna be on? Because I probably won't be up for the next.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll catch you later, man.
Alright.
All right. But anyway, Argent, I actually had a question for you. Have you ever thought about moving to Alberta? Like I heard Alberta's kind of like the Texas of Canada.
I would. I just need to have a job there.
I see. Yeah.
I mean, I apply to jobs. I'd move there or like even to Saskatchewan.
Yeah. I mean, where's the cheapest place to live in Canada? Would you say? Like, is it where
that would
you
be
are?
the East Coast.
East Coast. Oh, really? The East Coast? Like you talking about Nova Scotia and all that? I got that right? Nova Scotia? Or
Yeah.
am I thinking something else? Okay, yeah. Yeah, so like that place, that's the cheapest place to live for real?
I think so.
Wow, that's really unexpected. I figured it'd be on because usually coastal areas are expensive. You know?
Let me see. Cost of living province. I think it's probably New Brunswick, but let me just look at this.
Okay.
No, you guys can go ahead. I'm just looking this up.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, I didn't tell you guys. I guess I can lighten the mood and tell you guys what I did for Halloween. So, I went to a lounge with my brother, his fiance, and my best friend of 22 years, and we played ping pong and pool and had a good time. Then the next day, I went to my nephew's birthday because his birthday is on October 30th, the day after mine. So we had his 1-year birthday on Sunday, and it was pretty dope.
That's nice.
Yeah, good time. Friends and family, man. That's what else do you really need?
Nothing really happened in my neighborhood on Halloween, and there's usually quite a bit of trick or treating every other year, but it was completely barren the other night.
Yeah.
I know a friend, his neighborhood usually gets like hundreds of people on Halloween for trick-or-treating. They only got 3 people this year.
Well, yeah, because of COVID, because, all these liberal parents, don't want their kids, getting candy from, strangers, which, unfortunately, those strangers are their neighbors, so they shouldn't be strangers, but you know how it is in America.
So people were asking, the 3 poorest provinces are New Brunswick, PEI, and Nova Scotia. The only reason Newfoundland isn't on there is because Newfoundland has significant oil reserves. So...
That's interesting.
I mean, the absolute shittiest place in Canada is Nunavut. But...
That was Yukon or the Northern Territories.
No, Yukon is actually substantially nicer.
Is it Neo-China in the West?
I heard that the worst. I heard the worst parts to live in were the Native American reservations you guys have over there.
No, I mean that is the worst. I just mean in terms of like province wide. None of it is like entirely Inuit, and their capital is on Baffin Island. It's above the permafrost, so I think their sewer system is above ground or something.
Dude, okay. I gotta. Okay, so I don't know. Do you think YouTube would be mad if I criticized Indian reservations, or should we just skip that topic? Because I am very opinion.
I guess that answers the question. Oh,
he's back. That's funny.
Yeah.
What happened? Oh wait, was
Oh
that
no,
yes?
I guess Susan didn't like what you said.
What happened?
Really?
I guess that answered. He got booted out for a second and then came back in.
Oh, so should I just? I mean, I don't know. Gosh, this is what I hate about doing this on YouTube is that I'm never sure like what I can say and what I can't.
We'll just leave it for the moment.
Yeah, like it's not a well. Actually, you know what? I will do it because it's a legal thing. Like it annoys me from a legal perspective. I think it's so dumb that we're like obeying these treaties in America that are like 100+ years old, and we're just letting all these areas where these Indians live in just like go to crap because they're technically not part of the U.S. It's so annoying, and it'd be so easy to integrate them because there's not that many of them. It's not that much land, in most of these places. I just don't get it.
I mean, the thing is, like, they have the whatchamacallit. The argument against the Constitution is that it's like older, that it's too old, but a lot of these treaties are older than that. I mean,
yeah,
there's not really a good way of dealing with it. I think it's a little different in the U.S. just because there's fewer of them. I think the founding fathers just wanted to like, just fully integrate them, and then they'd be like just kind of subsumed into the white population within a generation.
Yeah,
or two.
I mean that's what happened to a lot of them. Like honestly, like that you guys have heard of that. I can't remember if it's in Virginia or what, but Roanoke. You know about that place where those people disappeared
Roanoke?
supposedly? Yeah, what I think happened is that they just kind of went native and just went and had a bunch of babies with the Native Americans. Because I've been to a couple Native American reservations, and some of them do look like really European.
Yeah, there's a good documentary by a channel called Lemino. He did a whole video on Roanoke. That's basically his prediction for it. They just went native and intermingled with the natives.
Yeah, because apparently when the Europeans first got here, they thought the Native Americans were very beautiful people.
Yeah.
Like I've read stuff to that extent, to where apparently they thought they were all like gorgeous, like all 10 out of 10, like the Europeans when they got here.
Castizo-futurism when?
Castizo-futurism now.
Yeah. Someone's asking, I think they're trying to change it back again, but like that's one of the issues I can't stand with the First Nations is they change their like name every 5 years.
They're not the only ones.
I know, but they constantly do it, and it's really annoying.
Yeah, I know.
So like,
it's annoying.
I grew up calling them natives, but you're not supposed to say that anymore. You're supposed to say. I think Aboriginal is also considered like a slur now or something.
I mean, like, yeah, black people do
Aboriginal
it in the
is more
US
for
too.
Australia.
Like, what name they want to go by changes every 5 years, and it's not even consistent during that time.
Well, let's be honest. The reason why they don't like being called Aboriginals because honestly, like they can pretend all they like, but they just don't want to be compared to darker skinned folk. Let's leave it at that.
Oh, wait. So apparently I'm looking this up. Some people are saying that Eskimo is the name for a wider group that includes Inuit, the people who live in Greenland.
I thought Eskimos was just what Europeans called them, and I thought Inuit was what they called themselves.
I don't know. I mean, it's a really obnoxious thing because, like, if we're going to start renaming countries based on what they call themselves, then we have to rename Japan Nippon.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Japan is
Nippon or
It's
Nihon? I forget how it's pronounced.
It's Nippon. It's Nippon to the Japanese, and it's Japan to everybody else. That's perfectly reasonable.
Because the Chinese pronounced it Japan.
I'm pretty sure
really?
Nihon is the adjective, Nippon is the noun.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't be surprised because the Chinese and Japanese, those guys are like oil
They
and
hate
water.
each other.
Oh yeah, they despise each other,
A
and
lot.
it sucks and I feel so bad for Korea because they're right in the middle of it, basically.
I think it's overlooked as the Chinese-Vietnamese rivalry.
Chinese-Vietnamese, but dude, Vietnam isn't a competitor to China. Japan is.
I'm saying that China and Vietnam don't exactly get along with each other.
Well, China doesn't get along with anybody.
Well, that's because
Yeah.
China has constantly tried to invade Vietnam. They actually had a war. I forget if it was the 70s.
Yeah, it was no after the
late
Vietnam
70s, early
War.
80s, I think.
Yeah, after the Vietnam War, when the Americans left, the Chinese did try to take over Vietnam, so it was commies versus commies, basically.
Yeah, like the
Because-
Soviets wanted more influence, and then there was Cambodia and all that.
Yeah, like it's kind of funny how chilled out a lot of, like, especially like Japan and Korea, like how chilled out those guys are, because man, they went through some brutal times, like in the 20th century.
I'm just gonna grab myself some food. I'll be back in a couple minutes. Just
Yeah.
keep talking.
All right.
Like, dude,
Another
like
thi-
honestly, it's hard to me to even believe that Pol Pot really existed. Like everything I read about him, he just seems so cartoonishly evil.
Well, the thing
No.
with communism in like those East Asian countries is, well, the ones that were former colonies, is it's tied up a lot with nationalism and like anti-imperialism.
Yeah.
So it's a bit different from the European variety in that
So,
sense.
Actually,
Like
that would be
Ho Chi Minh.
That's why that's like why the Cambodian Communist Party restored the monarchy.
Yeah, that would be actually. That's a very interesting discussion. Like, what do you guys think about imperialism? Yay or nay?
It depends.
I
Depends.
have mixed opinions on it. Yeah, it depends.
Yeah, I'm completely anti-imperial. I believe what Teddy Roosevelt believed. Like, walk softly with a big stick. And that's all.
Nowadays, I'm very anti-imperial. Like, I don't want any new empires in the world today.
Exactly.
Like, if we're talking about like past empires, well, my opinions on that are mixed because there's depends
Well,
on
the
which
thing
country
is-
benefits and stuff.
Okay, if we're defining empire as any great power that exerts influence on other lesser countries, that is a very common thing. And any nation that is not imperialist any major nation that is not imperialist is in a state of decadence and decline.
I think we have two different definitions of imperialist. Because when I'm thinking of
Are you
imperialist, I'm
thinking of
like
direct
the Iraq
rule
War.
over other countries?
Yes, I'm thinking of the
Okay.
Iraq War. The Iraq War. And,
Okay.
the stuff we've done in the Middle East. That's what I would consider imperialistic.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
that's
say
imperialism.
influence.
But the question is, what is the goal of the imperialism?
Walk softly with a big stick if we're gonna have it at all. That's what I say.
Modern imperialism isn't like land grabbing, like you're straight up annexing territories. Modern imperialism is perfect example would be the Belt and Road
China.
Initiative.
China in Africa, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kenya's actually had to give up. I think they were close to giving up a Mombasa port to China just because of trap diplomacy.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's very dangerous.
Yeah, the Chinese aren't joking about Africa, man. They want to own the clothes on those people's backs. It's really
Very
sad to
predatory,
watch.
man.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't even a whole lot of, it wasn't as much conquering as people think it was in America. It was mainly like, I'll buy this island for some beads, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I
because
mean,
the
that's
beans
how
were
it
valuable
was
to
in
them.
most places too, like in Africa.
Like that's
Tribal
what
leaders would generally like sell out to the Europeans
Yeah.
to get like a little bit more stuff.
Yeah, but it was also, you gotta understand, like, the Europeans weren't trying to rip the Indians off when they got the beans. Like, I've read stories where they tried to give them gold ingots and stuff, and they just refused them. They only wanted the
It
fucking
also
beans.
depends on like who you're talking about. European is a bit too broad in this sense, because like the French and the Spanish were much more conciliatory with the Indians than the British.
Yeah, they were, but
and there's different Christian groups too. Like the Quakers have always been very pacifistic. They didn't want any war. They didn't want any conflict whatsoever. They just wanted cohabitation.
Yeah, they lived. Yeah, that's why a lot of Quakers, like I believe even Nixon, I believe he was 15% Cherokee, if I'm not mistaken, because he was a Quaker.
I think it's Nixon. It was someone else. I forgot who it was. Shoot.
Are you sure? I could have sworn Nixon was a Quaker. Somebody needs to look that up. I'm almost positive.
Nixon was a Quaker, but he said he was 50% Cherokee?
15% Cherokee. 15. I think. Like, I'm pretty sure he was. I could be wrong, though. That's just like a weird factoid I have in my brain. I could be thinking of somebody else.
Immediately, I hear Nixon and Cherokee, and I'm assuming you're talking about Spiro Agnew. Am I correct?
Oh, yeah, Spiro Agnew. Well, no, I was pretty sure that... I mean, I knew he... That's funny. I completely forgot about Spiro Agnew. Was he pure Indian? Native American, I mean?
Yeah,
Spiro Agnew?
Let me look it up.
There was a vice president who was part Native American. Or
yeah,
Amerindian.
that's what I'm claiming.
I call them Amerindians. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
From the 30s, I think. Oh, Charles Curtis.
Charles Curtis?
Yeah, Hoover's vice president. He was, if I remember correctly,
Remember the colonization.
English.
Was a member of the colonization from the Kansas Territory.
Charles's father was English, Scottish, and Welsh ancestry. On his mother's side, he was a descendant of Chief White Plume of the Kaw Nation and Chief Huska of the Osage. That's pretty interesting. We actually did have a Native American vice president.
Kamala isn't the first. Actually, to be honest, I'm looking at him. I think his mother was still partially white, so I guess he would be considered a Castizo if he was like, in south of the border. But I guess if you wanted to make it a stretch, Kamala wouldn't be the first non-white vice president.
Yeah. It says here Charles Curtis had roughly 3/8 Native American ancestry. So yeah, Kamala's not the first white vice president.
And again, by that perspective, that would mean Nicholas J. Fuentes was if he became vice president, he'd also fit.
Oh yeah, interesting factoid for you guys. Guess who the first lady of Texas is right now?
Who?
It's the first. It's Greg Abbott's wife. She's the first Latina to be the first lady of Texas.
Really?
Yep. First Latina.
She looks Castizo, a Castiza, I guess, but she's. This is.
I don't know if you guys know much about Greg. And I don't know if you know much about Greg Abbott, but he's pretty based. He's kind of a pussy sometimes, but he's overall based.
Yeah, sure. Isn't he like in a wheelchair?
Yeah, he's in a wheelchair. It happened to him 3 years ago. Like, basically, it sounded like he was vacationing and went into some kind of hot tub or something, and he ended up with 2nd and 3rd degree burns, and I guess it went all the way to his spine or something. Like, I was like, wow, you can get, like, 2nd and 3rd degree burns can put you into a wheelchair? I had no clue. But yeah, I guess it went to his spine or something.
Fall asleep in a hot tub?
No, he didn't fall asleep in the hot tub. It was like some kind of random accident. Like the water was just way, way, way too hot or something. And he,
falling asleep in warm water in general, I thought, over time, if you don't drown and you have your head above water the whole time, wouldn't that over time cause sort of a mild burns just from being it for like a few hours?
Yeah.
Like sunburn. Like sunburn.
Yeah. I'm a little fuzzy on his details specifically, but I'm pretty sure that it was like he was at a resort and the people at the resort messed up and the water was just way too hot and he went in.
Ouch.
Got burned, yeah.
Interesting. If you look, Ted Cruz only won the Senate race by like 4 points.
Oh yeah, I know. It's worrying, but that's just because of the district he's in. He's kind of split, like, that little, because, his area is like, where the blue starts. And it's also
corporate. Do we have any new data on any states?
I'm looking at it right now.
I'm not seeing anything.
Republicans now have a 140,000 vote lead in Florida. The lead is now 1.5 points. It looks like they're going to overperform Trump. They're about to reach 4 million votes for the Republicans.
Yeah, Florida's going Republican.
I think Trump's going to win all the states he won last time. Plus, just barely, he's going to win Nevada, Minnesota, and New Hampshire.
Maybe.
I know I'm being a little optimistic here, but I think it's very likely.
I disagree, though. I don't think Nevada's in play. I could be wrong, though.
I think Nevada's in play just because of the riots and unemployment and the fact that Gary Johnson's
Hey
not
guys,
the
what's up?
Oh, nothing. We're talking about the elections. Yeah.
To be honest,
I was just getting some food, so.
Oh, that's fine, dude. Yeah, do whatever. Do your stream, you know.
a virile journey.
Yeah.
The link I posted in general, click on it. That it's not going to be the same amount of votes because there are going to be a lot more people voting this time in Texas. But the percentage margin is what I think is how it's going to turn out in Texas.
I think it might be a little higher than that, honestly, because I think a lot more pro-Trump Hispanics are going to be voting than you would see with any other candidate. But again, that's anecdotal. I can't prove that with stats, so take it as as you want. But I would guess that Trump wins about 65% of this state. That would be my prediction, at least. But again, I might be too optimistic.
I can't believe how many of these polls think Texas is a
toss-up.
It could flip, yeah.
It's retarded.
Dude,
some have like for leaning blue one.
Why leaning blue? Doesn't make any sense.
I know.
Dude, what's funny to me is these freaking white nationalists that have been saying that Texas is going to go blue, and they've been saying that since 2012. It's hilarious to me. It's so out of touch. It's obvious none of them live in Texas, to me, just that they think that.
It's not impossible that it'll go blue in the future, just unlikely.
Yeah, but in 2016, they were like, look, demographics. Texas went purple, and I was like, no, Texas went purple because of never Trumpers. It wasn't because of Hispanics.
Yes, Hillary actually did worse than Obama did in 2008 in Texas.
Who?
Hillary did worse at a lower percentage of the vote than Obama did.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, another thing is for Texas, there's a Hispanic culture that's been there for them to assimilate into. That's very easy for
exactly. A lot of guys don't seem to realize this, but we've had Mexicans and Guatemalans and Venezuelans in Texas for hundreds of years. Not just.
If you look at
my friend who's an Hispanic, his family has been in Texas longer than my whole family. You know.
Here's the thing. I actually think I saw U.S. Census Gov, and apparently whites had a larger percentage of the population in 2018 than 2010 because of white Hispanics. If you count those people, Texas is 40% white if you don't count white Hispanics. It'd be 75%.
Oh yeah. And here's a question for you. Who thinks that E. Michael Jones is based for saying that white identity is bull crap? Because I do. My hand raised high on that one.
A really white identity, depending if you're in a northern state or something, or really in general. I just think that some of the people who espouse it tend to be cringe and don't have any degree of pragmatism.
Yeah, no, if you asked me what I was, I would never say white unless I had to fill out a form. I would say I'm French and I'm Anglo. I'm an Anglo Frenchman.
I would probably say that I'm white, but I think the issue is a lot of these distant right figures who are trashing Trump for being a puppet. The issue is they got emotionally invested in Trump. They really shouldn't have, and they also are overestimating all the things the executive can do in the country. And finally, they thought that Trump was going to deport. I saw one person who said Trump promised to deport non-whites from the country. I'm like, no, he fucking didn't. If you're using illegal as a proxy, then fine. But even then, most non-whites in the country are citizens.
Dude, you just reminded me. I actually convinced my older brother, that Trump wasn't a racist because he was like, I think he's a racist, but I'm going to vote for him anyway. I was like, why do you think Trump's a racist? He's telling me all this shit, he's mean to people and blah blah blah, and I'm like, dude, are you sure he's racist, or are you sure he's not just rich? And that got him. Like right there, he was like, "Oh, that's a good point. He is very rich." You know, because I genuinely feel like all Trump cares about when he sees a person, especially a
Really
person
rich.
who's not as wealthy as him, all he sees is like, how much money can this guy make me? I don't think he cares about your skin color. You know, because you got to remember, if Trump ran in the '80s, he would have ran as a Democrat.
The thing is, Trump, he's managed to reduce immigration before COVID by 50%. And I'm telling these Wignats that, and they're like, "Oh, that's not enough." Or sometimes they outright refuse to believe me and think it's propaganda by Israel.
I really think all Wignats are like controlled opposition at this point. I don't trust anybody.
I think that they aren't suited towards leading a country. If you're
No, they're not. They can't lead themselves, much less the country.
If you're so concerned about demographic change, run a competent campaign that won't blow up in your face.
I mean, just look at Richard. I mean, just look at
They're
Richard
not
Spencer.
pragmatic. They have no degree of pragmatism. They think anybody who attempts to, I guess, even appear to not be one of them as like a puppet of Mossad.
Yeah. Like, honestly, dude, the only guy I've seen on the Wignat side that seems like to have his stuff together, and even then, that's just as far as I know, because I don't really follow him, is the Golden One. He seems to be the only guy in that sphere that has his stuff together, that has his house in order.
A guy who I think is a bit ignorant at US politics, but I still like his name is Keith Woods.
Keith Woods, yeah, I know who Keith Woods is. Yeah, he's like
Keith Woods of the third position.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, he's the guy all the Wignats thinks is going to save Ireland or something. But I don't know. He's just so young, man. Like, he's very smart and he's very well read, but he's just so young.
Just making a YouTube channel with his real name and face, so you can't do that.
I know. That's what I mean. I think he's making a lot of very amateur mistakes, and that he's going to have to deal with his whole life. And I just hope he's ready for that. I hope he at least thought about it. But
he's not an idiot. He knows that.
But he's young. Like, when you're young, like, when you think you're so right, like, a lot of the times you don't care about that stuff. You're like, yeah, they can come after me if you want. And, and they don't think about how bad and how long the backlash will actually be. Like, most young people are not long-term thinkers. Not what they're known for.
Right now,
I'm looking at the.
I honestly think the dissident right would be a lot better if it did sort of secret work behind the scenes. Like, I've been advocating on my channel called The Right Cafe that the dissident rights try to make like connections with people behind closed doors, and I think you make this comparison, but sort of like meeting not on Discord, but meeting in groups of like 5 people that know IRL, right, in like coffee houses. And saying, okay, this guy who's on the city council or something is going to retire because he's old.
I know what you're talking about. You're basically talking about what Ezra Pound did in the 20s, right? That's what you're talking about? Okay, who's making a lot of noise? Oh, sorry, can you mute it? All right. But, yeah. Like, do you know who Ezra Pound is?
Yes.
Yes, like like what you're describing is basically like what Ezra Pound did. Like he was like a right-leaning poet guy who got a lot of great authors together, and they just hung out in coffee shops, like exchanged books, like talked about political ideas, stuff like that.
Right-leaning is a bit of an understatement. He literally moved to Italy and like was a massive supporter of Mussolini.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying not to say that because I'm on somebody else's stream. So that's what I was doing. But anyways, again, I don't know what will get him kicked or not. Like, again, it's election day.
Well, I mean, talking about Mussolini won't get you kicked off.
No, I don't think
know.
they really care about
There was actually going to be a war between Mussolini and Hitler after he was the guy.
After he assassinated Dolphus?
Talking about the Fraser front?
I don't think Mussolini was dumb enough to think about having a war with Nazi Germany. I don't think he was that stupid. They would have got crushed.
Are you
You're
sure?
talking about the Fraser front, right?
Sure, but Germany, it was only 1934. Germany had...
Yeah, it was... And France and Britain were also part of the Stresa front.
Yeah, Yeah, just don't forget what Winston Churchill said about Italy during World War II. That it's the soft belly of Europe, and that was very accurate. If you look at how.
And I remember what Rommel said: "Lions led by donkeys."
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty smart what Hitler did with Ethiopia to get Mussolini to his side, of course.
Yeah, like, it's kind of funny when I look at Hitler, like from a grand strategy perspective. It seems like he had a better idea on how to run the war than his actual generals.
No, he had a much better idea. Okay, this is actually something So, people don't really get what his strategy was on the Eastern Front. The strategy was Nazi Germany was facing a food crisis and an oil crisis because of the blockade. So the first goal was to take the food production in the Ukraine,
and then the Baltic, right, to get the oil.
Oil was in the Caucasus.
There was a little oil in the Baltic, and then the goal was to reach the Caucasus. Now they didn't.
Which was like 80% of the Soviet oil supply.
Like if Germany would have got that oil, they probably would have won.
Didn't he just decided to ask Turkey, "Hey, can I send troops through? You don't even have to fight in the war." And then
no, it's okay. Let me just talk.
Turkey would have never allowed it.
So
just let Argent go on.
Yeah, just let Argent go. Yeah.
So the idea was, even if they couldn't necessarily take the Caucasus, they could cut it off from the rest of Russia, which is what Stalingrad was about. The idea was if they could take Stalingrad, it was the major port on the Volga, and they could stop oil shipments. And if they could do that even for a month or two, the Soviet economy would collapse. Even towards the end of the war, it was very close to there just being a famine in Russia. The U.S. had to send a lot of food in. And, people don't get why Hitler had ordered, the standard die, don't take one step back. Because his only remaining strategy was basically to try to hold the food until Russia starved.
Yeah, actually, Arjun, I had a question for you, because you seem to be more educated on this topic than I am. Is it, was Lebensraum true? Like Hitler's idea for living space, that his idea that he wanted to take over the whole world or whatever. Is that true, or is that a lie?
What
it sounds so ridiculous. Lebensraum, Hitler's supposed plan to take over the whole world and make it like an Aryan planet or whatever.
I don't think his plan was to take over the world and make it as part of Germany. I think the goal was to take Poland and some of Western Russia. For German settlement.
I don't know if it's different in your school, but in my school that I went to, we were taught that Hitler's plan was to take over the whole world. And that's why
it wasn't to take over the whole world. It was just more living space and agriculture.
I think the goal was he wanted Germany to be self-sufficient. And to do that, they needed Poland, parts of the Ukraine, and probably Belarus. I'm not sure what
keep in line with the principle of autarky.
I know, it's just funny to me, because if you really look at how a mainstream historian wants you to see Hitler, he basically just seems like a James Bond villain. He wants
historians
to
are people who make historians are people who make their careers feeling morally superior to dead people.
Okay, so a big thing what happened. Okay, so part of the issue was after the war, all the major German generals lied in their memoirs. Because they were around.
Manstein's numbers for the Battle of Kursk.
Kharkov.
Kharkov. Yeah.
Wait, so to save their asses or something?
Yes, because Hitler wasn't around to write his own memoirs. So they basically said, we would have won if not for pesky madman Hitler. Another example is if you ever hear about Stalingrad, Paulus is often really maligned as being cowardly or incompetent. And what had happened was Manstein told him to not try to break out. And then after the war, because Manstein was in a Soviet prison camp, he couldn't... Paulus was. Paulus couldn't refute it, so Manstein just blamed him for everything.
Yeah, and I always wondered, do we actually know why Hitler had Rommel killed? Because Rommel seems to be seemed to be by far his most intelligent general.
Because Rommel was very loosely connected to the Stauffenberg plot.
The July plot.
Yeah, it was that one. And at that point, things were going so bad, and Hitler didn't know who to trust, that he was willing to cut out a few more competent people.
Like, what do you think? Do you think he was going to turn? Do you think he was going to turn on Hitler? Because that would have been even worse.
I
think
mean,
that
the problem that that Hitler faced, and I think David Irving talks about this a fair amount in Hitler's War, is that within the German state there was the people who were politically reliable, but they were a massive liability, and people who weren't a liability but were not politically reliable. So, like, Himmler and the SS were really big liability in terms of the optics, in terms of like all the LARP and stuff like that.
Yeah, like didn't.
But they were really loyal.
Yeah.
Like didn't Himmler cross dress? Because I know one of his generals. Like I remember I read a diary entry where one of his generals was complaining about an SS guy or something cross dressing and how he was really effeminate and annoyed him.
I mean,
are you saying that Himmler was a Strasserist?
I don't know.
No, Himmler was just really weird.
I just
Isn't
remember
Ernst Röhm like a closet homosexual?
Yeah, no, he wasn't. I think he was openly. But no, the issue was, and this is a phrase, I'm not sure if my friend Torellian came up with it, but the people who help you to take power are not the people who keep you in power. So pretty much everybody has to do purges, like Franco did.
Yeah.
Because he realized, like, the Phalange was too extreme.
Man, I love Franco's part in history because he's like the successful fascist, so nobody talks about him.
Yeah, the thing is, I think that I think if Hitler won, I don't know what I'm curious as to whether he would take out Franco.
I don't know.
think
Like
so.
honestly, like I think Hitler was kind of like, this is what I think happened to Hitler. I think he was a good, all right guy, but then people just kept gassing him up, and he thought that he was some kind of chosen hero for Germany, you know. And I think it got way over his head, and it drove him crazy.
The problem
So I don't
with
think it
the
would've been
historical
good.
narrative with Hitler isn't even so much whether you view him as a good or bad guy. The issue is they have to try to make him into, like, being
Satan.
retarded. Like,
Yeah,
to be
retarded,
retarded and
Satan.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, he
Yeah.
was somehow able to outmaneuver and outsmart.
Conquer, like, most of Central Europe without firing.
No,
a
he was
single
able to
shot.
outmaneuver and outsmart literally every other major world leader, and
I know,
achieve Germany's foreign policy goals from, like, the last 200 years without.
So
shooting
do you?
anyone.
Oh, okay, so do you believe that he was a drug addict near the end or not?
I
Like, do you
mean,
not believe?
I don't know. I don't know how much it matters, really.
I mean, it matters a lot. He was the
Right.
dictator of Germany, so yeah, it matters quite a bit if he was a drug addict or not.
Towards the end,
I think
Yeah, drug
towards
addict.
the end, he was definitely on drugs.
I mean, yeah. Just look at just Argent. Look at Hunter Biden, and look how his drug addiction affected his father. You know, just politically speaking.
We do not want YouTube to automatically hear that.
No, like, I think the reason whether or
sorry,
not
sorry, I
Nazi
didn't
Germany
mean to.
could have won the war,
Yeah.
I think the best chance was they had to, for Operation Barbarossa, they had to reach the Caucasus in 41 or at least 42. And the general staff didn't understand, didn't get it. So they deliberately would, like, disobey orders and attack towards Moscow. It was never really, like, if they had have actually carried out the plan, it might have worked or not worked.
Yeah, it sounds like to me that Hitler was being a
If I remember correctly,
it sounds like he was being a petty tyrant and not explaining things properly to his men.
No,
That's what
I
it
don't
was
think that was it.
The
No.
German general staff was a lot of aristocrats, and they didn't like this upstart peasant from Austria. Was
Okay.
a lot of it because, like,
Sorry,
Go on.
and then I'll continue.
okay, like, I don't think people realize how strong the class system used to be in Germany until after World War II. Like, it's something you can't comprehend if you're from an Anglo country.
Yeah, I would say because the history I'm most familiar with is like Europe between like the Roman times all the way up to about the Renaissance. That's more of
Okay,
like,
so
yeah.
here's what it was. So The German general staff thought mostly in terms of tactics. That is, what a very good comparison, I think, would be the attitude the American military / government took during Vietnam, where the focus was on kill ratios, where they figured that if they could just kill enough Russians per German loss, they would just win somehow. And they didn't get that there was a wider strategic picture. The other issue that they came across was that the war against France had been won by decisively defeating the French army, taking the major cities, and causing them to capitulate. But that couldn't happen in Russia because of how big it was. Down or anything.
Were helping the rebel guerrillas in the area. It also made
okay, the stream's still up. I was worried.
No, it wasn't like YouTube. I just got my internet just flickered on and off.
Oh, okay. Phew.
Okay, cool.
That just happens sometimes.
So Arjun, we were talking about two things. Number one, how Hitler's the issue of Hitler's bureaucracy kind of reminded me of Roman Stalin's Council of Offs.
Mm-hmm.
Could you agree with that statement?
I don't know.
And you're talking about how Salazar was one of the most brilliant leaders in the interwar period.
Yeah, sorry, just the point I was saying before I got disconnected. So, a lot of people don't really get why Britain decided to stay in the war when there was no hope of a military victory. The issue was, even if Germany had offered them really good terms, like Britain had to make no concessions, the issue was, so long as Britain had blockaded the coast, Germany was on a ticking clock, because they couldn't sustain themselves in terms of fuel or food. If Britain had peaced out, then Germany would have just bought oil from Venezuela.
Hey, is it the... Hey, I got a question for you. E. Michael Jones once claimed that Churchill had an extreme ethnic hatred for the German people, and that also that he was in debt and that he had to listen to his debtors.
I don't take anything historically Michael Jones says like super serious.
Really? He's really educated on the subject. He really with history really well.
Michael Jones doesn't hate Germans as much as Dovahati hates Germans.
No, I'm saying Churchill. Not even Michael Jones. Churchill. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jones hated German people.
He's German.
He's German, dude.
That was the main Reformation.
Germany speaks German and he lived over there for a while.
Yeah, he doesn't hate Germans. I was talking about Churchill. Winston Churchill. But anyway, if you guys don't know, that's cool. But anyway, so what were you saying, Argent?
I don't know. I just don't take E. Michael Jones super seriously.
I think he has some good information. I don't agree with everything he said, but he has good information a lot of the time.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm ambivalent on him, but why do you not trust what he says, Argent?
Just from people I've talked to, and he just... I don't know.
I would tell you this, dude. Go on Culture Wars and read some of his articles. He's a much better writer than he is speaker. I'll tell you that. He's a much better writer. Much more coherent when he's writing. Yeah. Because remember, he is a college professor, and I believe he's in his 80s now, so he's a pretty old dude. So, he sometimes doesn't speak too well. But he writes really well. If you want to know real Michael Jones, read his books and read his articles. That's where you can get a more clear idea, because he's much more coherent in his articles and stuff. But anyway, I guess we can move on to. But okay, yeah. And one of you was talking about Salazar in Portugal. So were him and Franco best buddies?
Yes, he sent allies in the Spanish Civil War on the nationalist side, and he also played both sides and remained neutral.
Again, I'm not familiar with Portuguese and Spanish history, especially during that time period.
I like to compare his military, or his military punched way above his weight, because keep in mind, he was busy fighting a guerrilla war in Angola. and the thing was, the Soviet Union and the United States both supported rebels to take out Salazar's control of Angola. Yet, being outnumbered and outgunned, his military won the war. They only withdrew from Angola because of a coup that happened after his death.
So,
Wow,
has
how did
anybody heard any election news recently? I'm just looking at maybe Twitter or something.
Oh, well, now the Republican lead in Florida is 144,000 votes.
What's
We're
that
leading
percentage-wise?
about 1.5%.
Sorry, is that on the NJO or whatever it's called?
The Republicans are still down 10 points Miami-Dade. They're winning Pinellas. They're doing decent in Palm Beach. They're doing decent in Seminole County, which has the Villages. Or actually, where is the Villages in Florida? It's like some.
That's Osceola, I think.
Sorry, is Joe is done? Is Joe is done the one that you're talking about?
Thing I posted.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
Where's the Villages?
So, is California? I mean, is New York going purple yet?
County. Sorry.
I'm going to check the early vote in New York, and here we go. So I actually think, this is doing as bad as I expected. Trump is actually getting. Trump is losing the early vote in New York by the same margin he lost the state in 2016.
Wow. Okay.
So, since the early vote favors Dems, you could see Trump lose New York by maybe like 20 points or 19 points instead of, I don't know, like 29.
Sorry, so how do they tell how many people voted? Like, is there some public information?
It's using it's not all of it's public, but they have stuff like they use factors such as your race, your neighborhood, what political candidate you may have donated to.
And and also, Argent, any hard numbers are just going to be exit polls right now. Like, for the most part. I mean,
how do they know who vote? Like, whether Republican or Democratic voters?
It's educated guesses based on the demographics of the area.
That and also political donations as well.
Yeah, political donations. Yeah.
So, how do they know what percentage of people voted?
Because states actually often track party registration.
Okay, so so there's somewhere that says X percentage of registered Republicans have voted.
Yeah.
And also you got to remember this, Argent, is that Americans are very bad at voting. Like, I think we're usually lucky if we get 50% of the country to vote in most states. Like,
No, I'm just wondering, like, where when they say X percentage of Republicans have voted, that's like even from.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, we're probably not going to see any really reliable numbers until your next stream starts. Like, if even then, you know. Which, speaking of which, it must be getting. Is it 3 where you're at, Argent?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Like, what do you like? How do you want to play it? Do you want to go till 4? Do you
I don't know. I'll stop whenever I feel like it.
Okay, yeah, because make sure you gotta have your batteries recharged for the stream, you know?
Okay, I got a funny text. I wouldn't normally text, but we need you to vote today. We're worried that Democrats are going to get sidetracked or forget the vote. If you don't vote, they sent me a text.
To how Trump runs his email campaign like the Nigerian prince scheme.
I know.
Did you know that some group of people, hackers, sent out a message saying that there was very dangerous weather in like the blue area and got a lot of people to just not vote?
Base.
So, did you hear about the Oregon exploit?
Well, actually, you know what? That's election fraud. That's bad.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't do it myself, but I'm not complaining. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, no. I disown. I disavow.
The Oregon ballot results are so sort of insecure. If you know somebody's name, address, and phone number, you can cancel their vote for some reason.
Didn't they change some mayors, Democrat mayors vote to Trump?
Yeah, but
I mean, there was the guy who got Eric Holder's ballot. in
Yeah,
Washington.
but man, it just shows how much the Democrats are just sucking up to the lowest common denominator. Like, we got to make sure people don't forget to vote. Really, forget in
I
this
don't
election
know
cycle?
if I wouldn't be surprised if America was the only developed country that doesn't have voter ID laws.
Well, Texas does.
I mean,
Texas has
like
voter ID.
universal.
Yeah,
like
universal.
federal?
Yes, it's retarded. It's basically just so that the Democrats can, keep certain states. That's basically all it really is.
Well,
Like, I
the
believe
argument
that-
is basically they say black people are too dumb.
Yeah.
to get.
Because don't forget, one of California's most beloved governors in the last 20 years was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he was a Republican, and apparently he was a very good governor. Well, he was
Quote
governor
unquote
of California.
Republican.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's better than most. Like, I don't know. I looked at his policies and how he ran the state, and I thought it was pretty good, especially because he's a Republican having to rule over a bunch of liberals.
Well, that's the thing, and back then it wasn't really that liberal. We forget that California used to be a deep red state.
George H.W. Bush won California and Illinois.
Yeah. And also Reagan was the governor of California before he was president.
Well, Reagan won 49 states, and so did Nixon.
Apparently Reagan actually...
Yeah. Wouldn't that be, it's unlikely, it's probably not going to happen, but wouldn't that be amazing if Trump did get, a Reagan landslide? That would be...
It would never happen, but it would be amazing. Apparently Vermont actually voted Republican heavily for a while.
No, that's because the Republicans used to be the Liberal Party, and
George Bush won Vermont. 1992, Bill Clinton wins every county. 1996, Bill Clinton wins every county. 2000, it goes slightly back with George Bush getting 41. 2004, George Bush gets 38. 2008, Obama wins every county, 67% of the vote.
Yeah,
2012,
but
66.
and honestly, guys, I'm not trying to sound like a fedora here, but I really do feel like there's actually that Republican and Democrat aren't very good descriptors anymore for people's actual political beliefs.
That's because
They never have been.
That's a good freezing take.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
really
nice
do.
cold take.
Yeah, I mean, it's cold. Yeah, I mean, I know, but it's just kind of like that kind of.
I mean,
it is.
Huey
But I mean,
Long back in the 30s was saying stuff like this.
Yeah, but I mean, no, I'm just talking about just in the Republicans. There's Groypers, there's anti-Trumpers, there's pro-Trumpers. There's just so many tiny factions that just just swipe right instead of left.
I'm not even really if you look at a lot of my policies, I'm not really even I wouldn't be at home in the Republican Party, just because my views.
I don't
on
think most of us
healthcare
would be.
And the environment and
Yeah.
Well, have you taken a political compass test?
Oh God.
Yes,
That's
I
not
get
reliable at all.
authoritarian left.
That test. I really hate conservatives. I really hate a lot of people who are sort of conservatives online, to treat authoritarian left as actual leftists. No, they always get libertarian left. They don't realize that authoritarian leftists are people third positionists. I don't think they even know. In America, it's sort of do you believe in big government? Then
That's basically what the political compass test is.
The Emperor Charlemagne was far left because he was a monarch. I actually saw somebody make that.
That's weird because I was also a monarchist when I took that. I mean, I still am, but I was on there, and I was basically like a little bit up and a little bit to the right of Donald Trump. If you know where Donald Trump is on there, he's on the authoritarian right side, and he's kind of in the middle.
Questions are so vague and so.
Yeah, they are. The questions for the political compass test sucks. I totally agree.
I believe in astrology. The question on free trade, which free trade is neoliberalism. It's not right wing.
Yeah, it's very that's the problem is that the political compass test was clearly written by neoliberals. So it's from all the questions are from a neoliberal.
I mean, I don't have strong opinions on economics other than that.
You want it to function and not rip people off. And
no, that markets work and government intervention
generally,
and some sort of mixed economy is.
And I'm kind of curious, how bad are Canadians in debt, like on a personal level? Like, per
I think it's
capita?
bad. I don't think it's as bad as the U.S., but it's fairly
Yeah,
bad.
no, you guys aren't as bad as the U.S.
But like,
Oh,
for
yeah.
instance, a lot of people have called me like a leftist because of my opinion on guns.
What is your opinion on guns?
I don't think mentally ill people should have guns.
I think that's a bit reductive because mentally ill can mean anything from slightly depressed to schizophrenic. So I think that's a bit of a reductive way to put it. But that's just me personally. You know.
Okay,
I mean, I don't.
but
Yeah. Like if you're an invalid,
like
yeah,
get into like actual policy. Someone like Arjun or one of us would obviously define it better than that.
Yeah, probably. I'm just
Like,
saying, just leaving it, like
Yeah.
honestly, like I think that's how the Democrats long term want to take the guns away. I think they basically want to be like they want it to make it to where being a right winger is a mental illness.
I mean, like at this point, the mental health system isn't reliable, but I do think
Not
like
at all.
that is a problem, because all of these cases like seem to be like somebody who's like really mentally ill got their hands on
but
guns.
at least
To be fair, a lot of them, like the school shooter types, it's their parents' gun usually,
but-
or from a friend's house. So
Yeah, but we've had the founding fathers weren't ignorant that there were mentally ill people in the world. Like if you read the Federalist Papers, they talk about mentally ill people and guns, and they're like they're
who
an
gives a
invalid,
damn
they
about
can't-
the founding fathers at this point?
I do because they're
I do
they're
too.
the reason my country exists. They're the reason my country exists. So yeah, I care.
The reason it used to be
America
stable, yeah.
still would exist. It would be different. It wouldn't have the same identity, but America was founded when the colonists came over. It wasn't
Like all I'll say is that there are people who are far more successful than I am in the with the craft of nation building. So I'm going to listen to what they say, whether I agree with them or not, and take it into account. Yeah, I think you do that with everybody.
Yeah, well, the founding fathers aren't like the only theorists that have come up with government. And
No, but they made one of the most powerful nations on this planet right now. So yeah,
but that's the thing.
I don't know
you
if
see
that's
there-
government though, or that's just kind of the way, because America was kind of destined to be a superpower given the geography.
Yeah, it's geography and natural resources.
I don't think we would have been if we had like a different kind of system where we lived under like a military junta or something like that. Like I think the civilian government and civilian military was the right way to go, and I think that's why we're so successful.
Okay, but that civilian military and civilian government encompasses a whole lot more systems than just the ones the founders envisioned. Like that's everything.
Okay,
that's
but
not
like
a junta.
monarchies have civilian government and civilian control of the military.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
But I don't know. I mean, I don't really consider that a truly civilian government because
Yes,
you have a
you
monarch.
can.
A monarch is a military force.
Well,
a monarch is always a military force.
No, I mean,
Has
is the
not
president
necessarily.
a military force?
Yes, he's commander in chief.
Okay,
Yes.
then you
by
don't
that
have
definition,
civilian
it's not
government.
civilian. Yeah, exactly.
No, because Trump is a civilian who got elected to be commander in chief, so he is still a civilian, and he's running a civilian military force made up of volunteers. So yes,
so
it's
the
civilian.
monarch is magically a military person because he was born into it, right?
Okay, what? Okay,
And so it's
so
automatically junta.
I'm just telling you, what effective? Like, tell me an effective monarch that wasn't a military leader in some capacity, and I don't mean like he got got voted to be leader of his troop or whatever. I mean like his built-in monarchical position covers the military. Caesar had a military. He was a military
I said
leader.
Augustus Caesar.
Yes, Augustus Caesar was a military leader.
Okay,
Yes.
but
I don't think.
Okay,
have
anyone who's in charge of a state has a military.
Actually, Augustus Caesar did have. He did see a lot of defections from Mark Antony to his side.
I thought he was an administrator, and largely he sent Agrippa in to do the actual commanding.
Correct.
It's more or less how it happened.
Yes, he was more. Yes, okay. Well, I will admit that Augustus Caesar was more of a political powerhouse. than a military.
Maria
I will concede that.
Theresa.
I wonder if.
Maybe.
What about Constantine?
Constantine,
No,
he was
Constantine was
military.
a very.
He was a
active
military leader.
I know. You're talking about how the civic and military roles stay separate. This Constantine.
Emperor Meiji.
I don't know. It's just that all the examples that you're bringing up are really, really old. That's all. I mean, that's like
the 19th century is really, really
like they're
old.
they're like 2,000 plus years old.
Emperor Meiji is 2,000 years old.
Yes, he
Yeah,
is.
1963 was 2,000 years ago. Don't you know?
I missed that part, Argent, and I'm not an expert on Japanese history.
Emperor Meiji
but
reigned
there's a lot of
1867 to 1912.
Okay, well, then there's an example. Okay, all right, fine. I can see the point. Maybe I was a little too broad in that
I
statement.
mean, I'm not even a monarchist. I'm just saying.
I think monarchy is the most sensible because I think if we had a monarch who actually owned the land in a legal sense, then I don't think these corporations would be able to run roughshod over everybody.
Monarchy encompasses a lot. It's too much to just say monarchism. There has to be some other underlying force within that.
Well, constitutional monarchy is what I would prefer.
Yeah, and look how that's turned out.
Well, I think it could turn out great, but not as things currently stand because we live in a liberal paradigm right now. So of course, monarchy is going to be ineffective at the
Sorry, I'm a little confused because you said we need civilian government, but then you said monarchs are military, and now you're saying it's the best form.
No, I'm saying that civilian government and civilian military are more efficient than a monarchy. Like, they run more efficiently most of the time, I would say.
I mean,
as far as I can tell.
I mean, most military dictatorships don't stay military dictatorships. Generally, what they do is they become regularized. Like in the case of Spain, Franco declared himself regent and declared Spain a monarchy. Horthy did the same thing in Hungary.
Oh yeah, and don't forget Pinochet.
And if you look at their if you look at their actual cabinets, it wasn't like military men; they had civilian leaders in their cabinets.
So what normally happens is they do some form of normalization. Military actually, it's interesting because juntas aren't very good at
governing
at wars. They aren't very good at that.
I mean, you blamed Japan's defeat in World War II mostly based off they were run by juntas, right? Isn't that what you claimed in a video before?
I think that
had to do with it. But like Japan was kind of in an unwinnable situation after the U.S. entered.
Well, yeah, because
and
they
even
had
before then, they didn't have any goal of what to do in China.
Yeah, once the Americans broke through their naval blockade, they were screwed because they have no natural resources to fuel their stuff on their, on their islands or homelands. That's why they were conquering everybody to get resources like oil and stuff.
Wait! I have an example. It's a really old one of a leader who I guess was good at military-wise, but wasn't his main focus.
Okay.
Julian.
Julian?
Be more specific.
Emperor Julian, the last pagan Roman emperor.
The Julian the Apostate?
He was a military man, but philosophy and administration was by far his main focus.
Well, but that was like
didn't he have a
Marcus
really
Aurelius.
short rule?
Yes.
Yeah, Julian. Wait, we're thinking of the same guy, right? The guy who kind of revived the Byzantine Empire for a little bit.
No,
that's just. I'm talking about Julian the Apostate, the last pagan Roman emperor.
Oh yeah,
who died 2 years into his reign.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, it's very funny. Like, I know you're talking about Julian, but that is an interesting one. I'm not too familiar with him personally. I'll definitely read up on him a little bit.
Oh, wait a minute.
But what do you guys feel about? Yeah, how do you guys feel about Justinian? Because I'll tell you this: I think he was a great ruler, but I really don't like him. I don't like him at all.
Why?
Well, because it seems like that he was basically, how can I put this politely? He was pee-whipped, if you catch my drift, by a prostitute.
Mm-hmm. No, well, that was mostly written by Procopius,
chroniclers,
who was a troll and who really hated Justinian.
Then okay, so you're saying that the massacre that she supposedly committed in the arena didn't happen?
Well, that was justified because they were rioting.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the Nika riots?
I'm not sure because it seems like it was a pretty chaotic rule for Justinian. It seems partially because his wife couldn't keep her mouth shut. Though I could be wrong.
No, well, A, it was written by Procopius, who really hated her. Her. B, I don't know. The thing with Justinian is, so they were rioting, and he just sent in the army to violently put it down.
Oh, so
didn't he actually invite them into the hippodrome and then kill them there?
I think it was something like that.
Yeah,
so
it was a brilliant move, actually.
Okay, so Kyle Dawson sent me $2. Thank you very much. Why are people saying Miami-Dade with Eclipse a 4% GOP
4
lead?
point, yeah.
So that means they're going to get more than 4% in Miami? If you could just clarify that.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Republicans are leading in the early vote in Miami-Dade.
Oh.
Sorry, how do we know exactly, once again, that they are?
Click on mail. Click on in-person early voting. Republicans were leading in Miami-Dade.
So the state just says, so the state publicly posts X percentage of Republicans have voted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, I mean, that was the question.
What this does is it actually Florida is one of the 12 or 15 states that tracks party registration for people who vote before they vote.
Yeah.
And this is actually coming. The reason why they're able to make this map is because it's not an estimate. They actually have the results in every county, according to the Secretary of State. This guy just compiled them, put them into a graphic map, and updates them frequently.
But
every 20 minutes.
This is my question. Can you see if Republican votes are larger than Democrat votes?
Okay, so look at this on election day turnout. Republicans are beating Democrats in election day turnout by 270,000 votes, and out of 1 million cast. And okay, so 25% are Democrats, 50% of Republicans, 24% are independents, and of those, they go roughly Republican roughly 2-1.
Okay, I think what he's saying is Trump is doing 4% better in Miami than he was in 2016.
I guess that's under the assumption that Hispanics are voting for him, maybe?
That's not correct. He's not doing 4% better. He's doing 14% better.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at vote gap. My bad. So
14?
Yeah.
Really? Is that high? Corporatist?
That's high. He lost it by 30 points last time. Now, in overall, he's only losing it by 10. That's a 14.
Those Cubans are coming out in stride, man. They really are.
Are Puerto Ricans that liberal?
13% better in Palm Beach as well. He's doing 4% better. He's doing 5% better in Hillsborough.
Yeah.
He's doing.
And hold on a second. Arjun asked a question. Were you asking if Puerto Ricans are very liberal?
Yeah, I mean, I assume they vote Democrat. I just don't know how.
Let me put it this way. It depends if they grew up in Florida or New York. That's kind of the joke. Like, I forget they have like like Puerto Ricans in Florida have like a derogatory name for what they call like Puerto Ricans who live in New York. It's almost like sub ethnicities almost. But yeah, the Puerto Ricans that live in New York are very liberal. The Puerto Ricans in Florida are kind of all over the place as far as I understand it. But again, that's more anecdotal than stats based. So yeah, do you have anything on that, corporatist?
I really don't. I've heard that Puerto Ricans voted for Rick Scott, or they voted for they voted like 40-55 Republican. So 40 Republican, 55 to 60 Democrat.
I think it's fairly evenly split. Slightly more Democratic.
Like I could be wrong, but it seems. All right, somebody's making some noise.
Patriot.
Hello. Yeah, you're making some noise, bro.
What's the biggest city in Broward County?
Broward County? I'm not too sure.
Broward County is a county in Florida. It's like the most blue county, and it's one of the 3 counties that make up the Miami metro area. But
where is it? Like, if you put a dot on a map, where would it be?
So you're on Joe's Done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look up. You see the 2 counties in the bottom right corner.
Yeah.
Broward is in between Palm Beach and Miami-Dade.
Oh, okay.
I wonder what Broward County, the largest city in Broward County, is. Apparently, Broward County is a lot more blue than the other ones because there's a very, very large Jewish population.
Yeah, I'm gonna feel like an idiot if I'm wrong, but isn't there like a St. Petersburg or a Petersburg or something like that? Like a major city in that area? Or am I
Somewhere
wrong?
in Florida, I don't remember where.
Yeah, I'm thinking that might be it. That might be the largest city that you're talking about, corporatist. Maybe. But I don't know. I don't live in Florida.
What
so
county are we looking
St.
for?
Petersburg is in Pinellas
Broward.
County, Florida.
Okay, never mind then.
Pinellas County, Florida is like, so you see that county that's sort of blue in the center of the state, in the center left?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Called Hillsborough. The county right over at Pinellas is where St. Petersburg is located.
Okay.
Okay,
Alright.
yeah, I see it.
But, yeah. But,
I noticed that a lot. This wants me to get into something. I noticed that a lot of people in the dissident right, especially the more especially sort of the tradcats and the wignats, tend to think that every city is like a complete shithole. That isn't worth living, and that you should just go to like some village in the middle of nowhere and prepare for.
And honestly, I hate that term tradcath. It's like you're Catholic. Of course, it's traditional. Stop with the tradcath. I don't know.
Like, for instance, I know tradcath who tell me, "Hey, don't get obsessed. Don't get interested in politics. It's all cringe."
Yeah,
they say that on my wrong. And they're like, "Oh, remove yourself from the political realm altogether. Don't live in any major metropolitan area." And I'm like, "Dude, that's demographic suicide for the right."
Yeah.
You can't just remove yourself from your own problem.
But guys, we just gotta all go become farmers and be Amish.
I know, we gotta be like Owen Benjamin and have like chickens and llamas in our backyard.
Yeah,
that's gonna
exactly.
Save us. Yeah.
Anyways,
No,
guys, I think unless there's any more news, I might just end this stream here.
Actually, you know what? Just
Okay,
real
thank
quick,
God.
I gotta ask you guys real quick. Do you think that Owen Benjamin is controlled opposition?
I just think he's crazy.
I think he's crazy.
You just think he's crazy? I don't know, because just everything he says is just like, because, you know, he's always trying to be like super right wing, and he changes his opinions like he changes his underwear every day. And it just makes me wonder if he's just like there to like get like the really fringe cringe of the right and make them more vocal and like basically get them away from populated areas.
Argent, I think
Thanks for having us on, Argent.
Oh yeah, thanks for having us on.
There isn't any more data so far. You should probably wait until like 6:30, 7
Yep, I'm gonna start the next stream at 7, I think. So
Yeah, I would say
See you
7
then.
or 8. Like, you.
Yep. So thanks for coming on, guys. Thanks for watching the stream. I'll be back in a couple hours, and I have a couple energy drinks, and